Happy Monday. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice or watching me on any of the social media platforms, be it YouTube or Facebook, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and I am your host on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 1 to 4 p.m. If I seem a little bit subdued today, it's a lot of things, right? Mental health crisis is at an all-time high. This weekend was interesting, talking to different people who were dealing with folks who were in crisis, right? About what that looks like. In the Philadelphia Inquirer today, they were talking about what folks have to go through even just to get themselves checked in, and it's hard enough because of all the stigmas that are attached to it. But and that there's a crisis of not having enough beds, and then the violence in the city. As if the mental health crisis from COVID-19 was not enough for all of us, the crisis in the city, we're approaching almost 100 deaths, which if we don't get it together before the end of this week, we will be at 100 deaths in this city. And so there's a lot happening here, and I'm trying to figure out the best way to have these kinds of conversations because it's just a lot, right? Mental health patients, longer wait for inpatient care. Bethany A.O. wrote this, seeking help for a mental health crisis. Lindsay Redding went to Doylestown Hospital earlier this week. In the waiting room, she struck up a conversation with the mother of an adolescent who also was waiting for care. Redding, who is 37 and lives in Doylestown, said that she was shocked when the mother told her that her family had been sleeping on couches in the hospital's crisis center for a week because there were no beds available in areas, residential treatment centers for adolescents. And it's a conversation that I wanted to have with all of you because I have friends who have had children, young children in crisis, 16, 17, 18, 19, and we're all so stigmatized by it. Nobody really wants to talk about it publicly, but because of what's been going on with COVID-19 and the lockdown and not being able to see the family and friends and being able to move and do and shake and groove like teenagers normally would, where they would be able to kind of sort of cope, it's not happening now. And then with the adults, same thing. They had their jobs, they've lost their jobs, they're trying to figure out how do they pay the bills. Everybody's excited about this new $1.9 trillion COVID relief bill that was passed, but a lot of people had so much to catch up on. I am afraid that it will not be enough. Yes, we are absolutely grateful for what's being given out to people who can not do better, but the craziness is that this is what's happening, right? The coronavirus pandemic has created a mental health crisis as more people need help with anxiety and depression. A survey conducted in September by the National Council for Behavioral Health found that 52% of behavioral health organizations are seeking an increase in demand for services. And yet the survey also found that 54% of organizations have had to close programs for pandemic-related reasons, while 65% have had to cancel and reschedule appointments or turn away patients. Nearly a quarter surveyed cited financial hardship as a contributing factor. And so we want to take a look at that. But then, you add that now to what's going on in the city. My Lord, my Lord, my Lord. I couldn't watch any of it this weekend because I'm still being swirling around from the death of my friend, and I'm not dealing with that very well at all. I'm telling you all that in full disclosure because I'm telling you it's not easy. And so, I wanted to, there's an article that was written by Trish Hartman from 6ABC. Philadelphia grassroots organizers gather to discuss gun violence solutions. As Philadelphia homicide total approaches 100 victims for the year, officials and concerned community members gather to discuss solutions for the city's gun violence crisis. On Saturday night, a man was shot and killed in the 600 block of North 34th Street in Mantua. Police say that the 25-year-old man was shot in the head around 6 p.m. and pronounced dead at Penn Presbyterian Medical Center. Police are looking for a white Dodge minivan that fled the scene on South 34th Street. So far, no arrests have been made. In Frankfurt, 2 men were shot and injured in the 4800 block of Talcahuano Street around 6:30 p.m. on Saturday. Meanwhile, people gathered in North Philadelphia to take an anti-violence pledge and discuss the gun violence crisis, especially among the youth. You're going to need young people to monitor social media It's not going to take grown-ups to monitor social media. Grown-ups don't even know the lingo they are talking, said William Mackey with the organization Men for Positive Change. Even if they're having a negative conversation on the train, I find myself getting involved. I say, wait a minute, you heard so-and-so disrespect somebody, and we engage them in conversation, said Veronica Norris of Mount Airy. Earlier in the day, law enforcement and city officials gathered at the Christie Rec Center in West Philadelphia, where 16-year-old Kari Simmons was shot and killed on Thursday as he was playing basketball. Philadelphia police say patrols are being increased at recreation centers like this one. They will be on their cars, they will be talking. We have officers walking the perimeters, and we will continue to have active patrol in this pocket, said Sergeant Sharon Johnson of the 18th District. As of 10 p.m. on Saturday, there have been 97 homicide victims in Philadelphia in 2021. That's about a 36% increase from this time last year. I have on the line with me someone who I truly respect and admire when it comes to community advocacy work, because I just can't have conversations with any old body, right? Everybody wants to be in the limelight and to have the news on them. There are people who are literally there in the gap every single day doing this work. And one of them is Anton Moore, who everyone knows as a community organizer. Anton, are you there?
Here. I'm here.
How are you, sir?
Oh, man, it's a rough time.
It is. It is. And so I am really careful, you know, in light of all that's going on in this city. I am very mindful of the amount of nonprofits who are showing up saying that they have the panacea, the fix for all of this, or the folks who are saying that they're community organizers who are really doing no work except to show up for a press conference. What is going on out here? Can you give us a brief idea of what you're seeing from your lens, and tell us what's happening from where you are?
I mean, it's a tough time right now. You know, you have a lot of young kids with guns, ghost guns, that are, you know, they don't care. It's on the spot. And when I say on the spot, Andrea, it means that people are willing to pull out a gun on the spot and kill someone. It's getting tough for me, too. You know, you finding young brothers jobs, and I'm fielding these phone calls, but I got to find them jobs inside of a building in a safe space, because if they're out in the open, you know, someone may come and kill them. And it's getting tough. Here's the thing, Andrea. We need everyone at the table. You get what I'm saying?
Yes,
a lot of times you see City Hall making their own little plans behind closed doors. Other meetings go on. We need to throw everything at this issue of gun violence. I'm working on a plan myself with a couple other people right now to try to defeat this phenomenon of gun violence. And it's not getting easier by the day. Seeing a young man, Antonio Walker, who was the grandson of my good friend, Martin Boyd, he was murdered last Tuesday, 15 years old in Southwest Philadelphia. That hurts.
Yeah.
We've seen young men that are so talented that they have hopes and dreams all going to the grave, and it is draining, Andrew. I have to tell you, it's draining.
Let me ask you this, because we tend to talk about it in the abstract, right? This is the gun violence. These are the numbers. Everybody's just shouting out the numbers and what's going on there. What can we feasibly do? What's causing, what is the mental health crisis that we're facing in this city right now? Is it not having a job? Is it not finding decent places to live? Is it the lack of education? Is it just real serious depression and anxiety that no one wants to talk about? Because we often look at Black and brown people as if we're not the same, right? When we can't have mental health crises like everybody else. What are the key things that you're seeing in the city from your lens that's causing this?
This is years of not investing in the African-American infrastructure, and specifically young African-American men. This is starting to take a toll on our community. So when you list those things like education and poverty and housing, all those things play a role in the destruction that we're seeing today and we're experiencing. And it's not going to get any better, because I spent the time this weekend calling around other states, calling around other cities, and I'm hearing the same thing. And in New Orleans, a mother lost 3 sons to gun violence in a span of 1 week. And in Little Rock, Arkansas, a young lady was at a park, and they shot and killed her. So these things are taking place, and believe me when I say this, Andrea, it's going down everywhere. You hear me? So we're looking at these things, and I got to believe these are in African-American neighborhoods on and get the proper necessities and resources that are needed to build our communities up.
This is so great. 3 sons in 1 week. I can't even fathom it. I can't fathom it.
Yep, because I said to myself, Ange, I said, okay, let me get some people on the line. My niece lives in Danville, Virginia. She's saying, look, the violence is crazy up here. We have 12 murders. And I didn't laugh. I was like, 12 murders? But I look at their population size. Then I talked to my cousin down in Columbus, Georgia, and he sent me a video of guys in a barbershop cutting hair and playing pool, and in the back, all you can see these guys just fall over because somebody shot the barbershop up, and that's a small population in Columbus, Georgia, but it's happening everywhere. And Malcolm X said it best. The chickens are starting to come home to roost, meaning the things that America has done to African-American neighborhoods are starting to go sour, and now you start to see things happen on a daily basis.
So this past weekend, yesterday, I stayed in all day, you know, and I'm being transparent with all of you, because we tend to not look at mental health in a way that is conducive, right? And so with my friend died suddenly about 9 days ago now. I think the funeral is being planned today, and it rocked me. It rocked me, because there are things that I know behind the scenes that is going to be harmful to those left behind, right? And so I said, all right, I'm going to need to get some mental help. So I'm literally getting ready to call one of these black therapists that I interview all the time. I just have to pick one and call them and talk to them, talk this thing through. But in the middle of doing that, I began watching a documentary about East LA, about a community college out there where the coach took on these young black men who, you know, everybody spoiled them in high school, told them they were the best. They were the best on their basketball teams. I'm going somewhere with this, Anton. Told them they were the best on their basketball teams, but no one really paid attention to their grades, right? And all of them felt the pressure of, I got to get out of my hood to make sure I can take care of my family members. And what we watched, I mean, I started watching it at 7 o'clock in the morning, and right up until about 3 in the afternoon. It was a fascinating documentary because it looked right into the psyche of the average African-American male who just doesn't get a break. They are seen as modern day slaves in that they're used for their height and their strength and their capabilities to play. But when it really comes down to how are they going to make a living, you know, they get signed to these colleges that accepts them. And then when the rubber meets the road in terms of trying to get an education, they can't compete. They don't even know how to write full sentences, Anton. And that for me is the criminal behavior that continues to happen with these young men who thinks shooting a hoop is one great way of getting out of their communities. And let me be straight. I'm not saying that basketball is not the way to get out, but those young men kept saying their bodies ached from running up and down on that hardwood floor. They were sitting and trying to figure out how they were going to get an education in a college where they should have been getting it within their K-12 institution. But every one of them kept saying the teachers, you know, loved on them and told them they were the basketball stars and their school won a championship, and nobody talked about what they would do moving forward. The despair, Anton, there was a young man by the name of Joe. Every time he couldn't get what he wanted, because he did not know how to work through his emotions, he would blow up and punch things and throw things all over the place. And the average person looking at that behavior would have written him off, right? Except for this particular coach. And so while we fuss about sports in our communities and what it does, what I am seeing is that these coaches are developing authentic relationship with these children, these young people, beyond what's happening in schools. Am I making sense?
Yep.
So we've got to get better at what we're teaching these children. It cannot be we don't have enough money. We have got to stop saying that. The schools need a lot of help. Yes, they do. But I am telling you, there has to be a way that starts before they get to kindergarten, right? There has to be some sort of programming that says, here, come, we have these programs for you. Even if the parents can't come to you, bring the program to the parents in their community through little apps, right? Give them little computers so the children can start to learn. Teach them how to be critical thinkers. Because it feels to me, and this is just me talking again, that this is deliberate. that our children are being failed deliberately, because when you go into the suburban communities, you do not find this at such a large scale. It is there, yes, for our Black and brown children, but you don't find this at such a large scale. So what can we do? What solutions do you see is what I'm going to ask you next. And just hold on, let me take a quick break and then we'll come back. And thank you, Anton, for jumping on at such short notice, okay? Because we need to deal with this, and we can no longer gloss over it and act like, you know, it's oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Because to your point, it's not just Philadelphia. It is happening everywhere in communities where Black and brown people are congregated all across the country. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. Reverend Joe, I'll get you when I come back from the break. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
This morning, smile with the rising sun. Three little birds, it's by my doorstep, singing sweet songs of melodies pure and true, saying, this is my message to you. Singing, don't worry about a thing.
Words from our past. WURD Radio celebrates the powerful voices of Black history. Reverend Dr. Leon H. Sullivan.
If there is anything in earth that makes man akin to God, it is his power to believe. For things are to us what they are on the basis of what we believe them to be, whether they be true or whether they be false. If, for example, you believe that a straight line is the shortest distance between 2 points, then for you this is true in spite of the fact that there is no such thing as a straight line in a crooked world.
Words from our past, exclusively on WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD. This episode brought to you by Comcast. The WURD Radio newsletter, keeping you informed, engaged, and connected. Sign up by visiting WURDradio.com. Scroll to the bottom of the page and type your email address under Connect with Us. You'll receive the latest information on WURD Radio, messages from our president and CEO, Sarah Lomax Reese, exclusive articles and multimedia content, and resources. Stay informed with the WURD Radio newsletter. The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's new monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. For April, WURD Radio is partnering with the Free Library of Philadelphia and showcasing their pick for its annual citywide reading program, One Book, One Philadelphia, entitled The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it. Tuesday, April 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit WURDradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, more, concentrating on authors of color.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I am spending this next hour addressing gun violence in the city of Philadelphia, unapologetically. We have to, the wringing of the hands, it's just a lot, right? We're closely approaching 100 deaths in this city on March 15th, 2021, which is like a 37% jump over what's happened the same time last year. And so I have on the line community activist Anton Moore, who has been talking about the fact that this has just been years of neglect in our communities as it applies to education, young men not, especially our young men who are seeking jobs, but it's hard to get a job when you can't read, hard to get a job when you can't write, hard to get a job when you don't know how to structure a sentence to work with Joe Public. It's hard, right? And it's demoralizing. And when they get to that place, then all kinds of craziness starts to erupt. And so even for Anton, who has seen it all and has been out here helping people to find jobs and helping families to cope and helping young cats to get off the street to stop some of the beefs, he said they have to find places for them to get hired so that they don't get shot while they're outside. That is craziness going on in this city of Philadelphia. And so at some point we've got to figure out, and he's right, it's going to take all of us coming together. So here on WURD Radio, on this show, we are going to do our part to kind of help to see what the solutions are moving forward. Let me be clear. This is not a panacea. It's not going to stop things right away. It will not stave the bleeding because it took time for us to get to this place. It's going to take time for us to come out of this place. But what we cannot continue to do is point fingers and fuss at each other, and nothing continues to happen while our children, do you understand? That's every time a young man or woman dies in this city, that's a generation lost. They're not going to have any children. There will be no grandchildren. There'll be no one to carry on the family name. We have got to think this thing through and what it looks like. And Anton and I are going to talk about how we start to turn in some of the people. Look, living right next door to you, right? You know who they are. The mothers and the fathers like, well, that's my baby. I know my baby shot and killed someone, but I'm not going to say anything. All these things are going to come home to roost today. Let me quickly, though, take Reverend Joe. Hold on, Anton. Reverend Joe, are you there?
This Summertown, how you doing?
I'm good, sir. I can hardly hear you, though.
Can you hear me a little better now?
Yes, much better, yes.
Yeah, how you doing, Sister Andrea and Brother Anton? I just wanted to say, when you look at the violence, because you're absolutely right, Sister Andrea, because that's one of the things that always has bothered with some of our people in the community. It's not, thank God it's not many. It's this stuff about, not turning in these people, as causing destructive. Because you can go to every black community across the United States, and you can, domestic, I give a good example. My cousin lives down in Dallas, Texas. And right there in Dallas, Texas, which is miles from Philadelphia, you got she says two problem families in the block where she lives at. And they cause chaos, violence, just drug dealing, just total chaos. So we have got to, when I understand it's a safety issue, you want to put yourself out there, but you can't, because some of these police you can't trust. They know corrupt and they'll snitch you. But we got to find, and I don't claim to have all the answers, Sister Andrea and Brother Anton. We got to find some mechanism we can turn it out of the community, because long they're going to be a deficit, you know what I mean? So we definitely have to, so your point is well taken, Sister Andrea, we definitely have to do this. And I close with this, Sister Andrea. We see clearly, when you look at the violence in the neighborhoods with our people, with some of these fools shooting out here, shooting children, innocent people, elderly people, whatever. And then you look at how we devalue about the white society. I'm sure, Sister Andrea, you and Brother Anton heard over the weekend the announcer, the white announcer that called the sisters at the high school basketball game in Norman, Oklahoma. Because the sisters took a knee against that racist national anthem protesting police brutality. He said he didn't realize he had an open mic. He said F and N. You know what I mean? So you see, and these are girls. These are high school girls. So you see how people are devalued. Then you add the other fact about the violence in the neighborhood. We see clearly we can't keep going down this path. We are devalued by the white society for the most part, police, law enforcement, these sports announcers and things like that. So we see clearly we got to take a different tack and do what we can to come together as a collective to try to deal with this violence and stuff like that, Sister Andrea. So I just want to thank you for let me express myself. Thanks a lot.
Oh, you're quite welcome, my brother. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay?
You too,
All
Sister
right.
Andrea. Take care. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Before I take Tyrone, let me say this to Anton. Anton, did you hear what Reverend Joe said? Oh, that's Joe. That's
Yes,
Joe
I
from
did.
Germantown. So part of the issue, as I see it, is the consistent devaluing of us as a people. Whether we live in the suburbs, whether we drive a fancy car, whether we have a college degree, what it does to our emotional psyche is it pits us against each other because we want to believe and behave as if, well, I have a certain position, so I am untouchable, or I am over here. And what we continue to realize that if the children are not okay, then the village is on fire, and we have to stop talking about it and being about it. So, what are your thoughts around what Reverend Joe just said, Anton?
He makes a great point because we got to stop letting people talk down on our young men, and that starts at a young age. That's why parenting is key. Stop believing the idea that, oh, he just has a mother or he just has a father. You need a two-parent household to raise today's kids. You get what I'm saying? Before we can get by with, my mother raised me, single parent, but it's nothing like having a two-parent household. You don't know how many young men that I come in contact with, and they don't have a father. I'll tell you another thing. I have my old boss, his nephew, lived in Portland, Oregon. He was just murdered the other day, and one of his biggest frustrations and anger that he had inside of him was that his father walked away from him, and he wore that on his shoulders every day. You get what I'm saying? So you're looking at the building of a young man doesn't start when they're in high school. The building of a young man starts with the minute that they come out of their womb. And a lot of times we don't see that in our community, and we don't value that. A young man needs a man in their lives to show them how to be a man. We need that because the thing about it is these young kids are tapping into social media, and when they don't have that father in their household, they're looking at the men on social media saying, well, that's how I should be. You know, they lack sense of identity. So they adopt that from the streets, and they adopt that from social media, and then they apply it to life, and they become reckless. Meaning that if they had a man in their life that gives them direction and guidance to say, this is what you're supposed to do. Let me take you to a basketball game. Let me show you how to put on a tie. Let me show you how to be respectful to a woman. They'll take those attributes and apply them to life. That's what we're dealing with. And I hate to be tough on my people, but I tell men all the time, if you're not going to take care of that child, please, please, please strap it up because it's hurting society as well.
I agree. And here's the other thing that I'm going to talk to this from the other end. Lord, the phone's lighting up. Hold on. Let me also say this, because while there are men who will walk away from their children, I've also heard too many horror stories of men who want to be a part of their children's lives. So sisters, let me say this to you. And yes, I'm talking to you. If you get into a relationship and the relationship does not work out, that is nothing to do with the child that you are now left with behind. If you're mad because brother so-and-so went off and went with another chick that you didn't like, and so your way of getting back at him is not letting him see his children, even if he doesn't have a job and cannot afford to pay child support, the very fact that he sees that child and gets to bond with that child will stop you from having heartache down the road. Trust me when I tell you. Okay, it is a hurting piece. I get it. Been divorced, understand. It's a hurting piece. But what you don't want to do is hurt the children irreparably, on top of the fact that you and the man are no longer together. I have seen more men crying in court about wanting to see their children, where mothers just pick up and walk away and then say, well, your daddy didn't care nothing about you because he left us here. So the child then gets wrapped up into the relationship that the child had nothing to do with, right? And so we have to, when I say this responsibility comes down to all of us, Anton, I mean it comes down to all of us. Right? We've got to put these petty emotions and behaviors aside to make sure, right? That we can stop using our children as pawns. It's bad enough if dad has died, or dad has been locked up, or dad has just walked away for whatever the reason. That's bad enough. But when a father is begging to see his child, and it's the only way you can stick it to him by telling him, no, you will not see that child. And then when the child gets to 16 or 17, you're calling them to come get the child that they can't control now because they didn't have an opportunity to build with that child. So before you lay your head, listen, I say this to people all the time, and yes, we're going here because it literally comes down to us as the adults and the way we are raising these children, right? It is no fun raising a child by yourself. It is no fun, right? Especially when you have family people, you know, family, a whole village of a family around you. That's one thing. But if you see what's going on out here, pay attention, man. This is not going to be easy. This is not going to be easy, and so we have got to get outside of our emotions and think about these children. And we talk about the young men, Anton, but we don't talk about the young ladies who make these reckless choices too, that are being targeted by sex traffickers. The human trafficking business is $156 billion. So when you all are talking about, I can't stand him and I don't want it to have nothing to do with the baby, you send your child off to the mall so you can get some time to breathe, and your child is picked up by a human trafficker. And it's not just happening in the city, it's happening everywhere. We have got to do better. We've got to get better, right? And so it goes beyond our emotions. And if you know you're going to lay with someone who's not going to be able to do anything for you, don't lay with them. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, it simply comes down to that, because we're now raising children 15, 16, 17 that are not making it to the age of 20. Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, Anton?
You're right. You're right.
Lord have mercy. Right. So even if the man does not live in the house with you anymore, but if he has any inkling of wanting to see his child, if he doesn't have a job, because you see what the numbers are for black and brown men in this country, if he doesn't have a job, but he has just enough coins to go get your child an ice cream and spend some quality time with them in the park, let that be what he does. Don't deny him because the child can't get a pair of Nikes, or you're not getting the $500 or $600 a month in child support. You would be surprised to see how invaluable spending time with that child is beyond the money. And when you treat the man right, when he does have money, right, because it takes two to make the baby. But, you know, we have to be careful because our mouths are always going, you ain't this and you ain't that. When you beat up on somebody enough, what do you think is going to happen, right? So it's like damaged people hurting damaged people, and we've got to get better at this. I don't know, Anton. I feel like I'm talking in the wind some days, but today I also feel like I'm hitting the nail on the head, because we keep looking at services, we keep looking at schools, we keep looking at education, but we also need to look at ourselves, right? And what we are bringing or not bringing to the table, and what traumas we're carrying from our childhoods into the children that we give birth to. Does that make sense?
Perfect sense.
Oh,
complete sense.
I don't know, Anton. I don't want to see another person die in this city.
I'm with you. Like, I'm with you. You don't understand how much it hurts me. I see dead people in my dreams at night. That's tough. That's very tough.
So give me a couple of solutions, Anton, for what you think would be able to help these young people, especially in the communities.
So here's a couple of solutions. One, parenting and being a father. You know what I mean? I'm big on that because I'm seeing it, and I'm talking to these young men. And the more I talk to these young men, the more they yearn for their fathers and guidance. That's the first thing. Second thing, get your kids involved in some extracurricular activities. You know what I mean? Get them involved in some things that they can, get them off the internet. The third thing is, and which I think, is one of the biggest things that you mentioned, identify that your kids are dealing with mental health. You get what I'm saying? A lot of times, you can see somebody and they look damn good. You know what I mean? But they're hurting inside. They're hurting in their minds. And the only people that know that they're going through that and they're going through that thing are the people that they surround themselves with every day. And most likely, the first line of defense are their parents. You know what I mean? Community leaders. We need you guys to step up, get out in the forefront. Talk to your neighbors. A lot of times people think that the solution to our problems lie in City Hall. It doesn't. You don't have to go citywide with it. When you step outside of your door, look to your right, look to your left. They're right there. The kids are right there. I get frustrated when I see people like, we're going to City Hall, we're going to do this.
No, it's right on your block. You say you want to start something, start on your block. Don't worry about social media or people getting involved. It was days I had to work the payments and, make phone calls by myself in my mother's kitchen because I had the passion and love to say, you know what, it may start off like this, but we're going to continue to grow because we're going to touch lives. People have to believe and tap into your resources. Swallow your pride and tell people that you need help. When I get off this phone right now, Andrea, there's a situation happening in South Philadelphia where someone was shot 2 days ago. You know what I mean? I'm about to bring two of those parents together so they can sit down and talk so we can figure it out. It takes being proactive, and it takes us to understand that we have issues in our community, and it's going to take us to actually deal with them.
Agreed. Anton, I can't thank you enough, my brother. Later on today, I'm going to call you to see how I can personally help in any way that I can. Because it's going to take all of us. Love you. I appreciate everything you're doing in our community.
And real quick, Andrew, let me mention this. It's something I didn't mention. Also, let's work with the average young men that get found with guns and work with them to restore them, because a lot of the young men that get caught up in the system, they end up turning out to be repeat offenders because the world throws them away. So we have to hone in on them as well. And I'm actually working on something right now, undercover, where we're going to work with these young men and turn them into, entrepreneurs. And we talk about the trade. We're going to tap into that too. So I'm working on it. I'm raising the funds needed to get this done because I can't wait for City Hall. I can't wait for the unions. This is something we have to do, because if these bodies keep dropping, I feel like I have blood on my hands.
Yeah, we do. We already have blood on our hands. Thank you so much, Anton.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. We'll talk soon, okay?
All right.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, Tyrone, are you there? I can't even sing today. How are you, Tyrone?
Mother, I can understand why we can't sing. My God. Peace and blessings, much love and respect. I'm experiencing what you just said, Mother. These women and men, they got to stop using their children as pawns. Now, I experienced, and I'm just talking about in my family, my grandson and my granddaughter. My granddaughter being the perpetrator and my grandson receiving it, of this. Not letting your family be, not letting the father be involved. And, man, I'm just telling you, it is so devastating because you can see it in the children. You can see it in the children. And why won't these relationships, if you're no longer going to be a relationship with, man and woman, please stop using the children as pawns, because you are damaging them for the rest of their lives.
Literally.
And Mother, I believe what we're seeing is a lot has to do with that. A lot has to do with that.
Which is why I addressed it, Tyrone. Which is why I addressed it. Nobody else will address it. And, it's on WURD radio, where it's Black Talk Media, and it's us, the village, talking to each other. We have to start addressing some of these things that nobody wants to talk about. I got to go, man. I got to take a quick break, but I'll catch up with you soon.
Mother, please, I really wanted to respond to the violent issue. That's why I was calling, but you just touched the nerve when you said it. So if
all right, well, then hold on for me, please.
I got two things I have to say.
Okay, all right, hold on. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Sold I to the merchant ships. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit, but my hand was made strong by the hand of the Almighty. We forward in this generation triumphantly. Won't you help to sing these songs of freedom? 'Cause all I ever have, redemption songs, redemption songs. Emancipate yourselves from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Have no fear for atomic energy.
WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. Level Up is a joint production of WURD Radio in Philadelphia, WVON in Chicago, and KJLH in Los Angeles. These 3 Black-owned stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting Black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. The deadline for submissions is March 15th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. The 2021 Level Up contest is sponsored by Comcast, Bank of America, PECO, Keystone First, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
Hey folks, WURD members are invited to tune in every second Tuesday of the month with me, Nick, for a chance to win a book bundle of the newest releases from Kensington Publishing's culturally oriented Dafina imprint.
The Sweet Treat Hut is the highest rated juice bar in Philly, located on the corner of 50th and Thompson Streets, providing delicious, healthy vegan food, juices, and smoothies. Treat yourself to a cup of happiness. Call 215-877-1471.
Small business owners are navigating an evolving small business landscape brought on by coronavirus. However, their resilience is reflected in Bank of America's 2020 Small Business Owner Report, a nationwide survey on 1,000 small business owners, which found that nearly 1/4 of small business owners took steps in 2020 to retool their offerings and or leverage their resources to support relief efforts in their communities. While many saw an impact in their bottom line last year, small business owners anticipate a strong post-pandemic environment, and 79% believe small businesses will return to be the backbone of the U.S. economy. Inspired by the small business owners facing unprecedented challenges, Bank of America continues their commitment to help small business owners in Philadelphia with the necessary resources to sustain and grow. For more information, visit bankofamerica.com.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, we are spending the first hour addressing gun violence and the last hour addressing gun violence on this radio show today. We can't skip and jump over it. I have guests at 2 o'clock in the 2 o'clock hour, so I want to get them, through their conversation and our process, and then I'm going back at the 3 o'clock hour to discuss this, because we can no longer read what's going on the news and then move on and act like it's something we should not talk about. Tyrone, are you there, sir?
Yes.
Listen, I have 3 more people waiting behind you
okay,
before I get to my 2 o'clock guest, so I'm giving you 45 seconds, okay?
Okay, one, the court system has got to be more respected of the Black family, because the court system is allowing this, uses of the children as pawns to exist because of the power that is given to one or either of the parents, and disenfranchising one
Yes.
or the other parent.
Yes.
And
Yes.
secondly, in terms of the violence, you know, it is becoming commonplace and accepted behavior. Because when you hear somebody say, oh, it's going to be 70 degrees, now I got to put on my bulletproof vest because you know that there's going to be a lot of shooting and killing in the community because the weather is getting warm. See, it's becoming normal. It's becoming accepted.
Yes.
And until we actually come together, public, private, and governmental, because it couldn't happen nowhere else but in the black community, what we're seeing and witnessing today. So it's got to be some, concerted effort of us looking at this as a real health and mental health issue. Thank you.
Got it. Thank you so much, my brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Praise the Lord. All right, bye-bye. Let me see. Let me just make sure now because I have, who do I have on the line now? My Lord. Joe from Abington, line 4.
Yes, how you doing?
I'm good. What's going on?
Yes, how you doing? I'm just trying to find out any place up here in Montgomery County or Abington where me and my wife can get vaccinated because it seems like it's hard to find up here.
You know what, Joe? I have been having this conversation. I know the Black Doctors COVID did something last week at Bethlehem Baptist Church, and they only had 200 vaccines.
Yes.
It is a conversation that, listen to me, hang on tight. I am actually working with people now. There's a woman who actually looks out for folks and helps them to get vaccines. I'm going to get that woman on the air in the next day or so we can talk to you, and that's in Montgomery County, wherever you live, so that you can get that vaccine, okay?
Yes.
All right, Joe. All right. Thank you. Just hang on in there. Okay. We'll find out for you. All right.
Okay.
Bye-bye. All right. Bye-bye. Let me see. Reverend Joe, quickly, sir. How are you?
Reverend Andrea, you're preaching today. Listen, it's very simple. They paid the woman welfare. They put the man out the house. Everything is happening to us by design. I know we can save our children by music. If you saw 60 Minutes last night in New Orleans, they don't have this problem because the drum corps is what the kids living down to be in the drum corps. So the same thing that's killing our children with the nasty rap music, we can save them by putting them in the music. I'm working with Professor Lovett Hines at the Clef Club. They have a scholarship program. We can put kids in that. That's the only thing saved me coming up with music. So we can do it. And as soon as we open the church back up, I'm going to have you come preach up because you're doing a great job.
All right, Reverend Joe. Thank you so much, my brother. We'll talk
soon. Judge Simons about the traffic tickets.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. Bye-bye. Brother Mike from Ohio. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon, sister.
Good afternoon, sir. How are you?
Just wanted to contribute this. I'm fine. I appreciate you asking. Hope things will get progressively better for you. So, I follow Philadelphia avidly because, that's where I'm from, and obviously I'm here in Ohio. I've done a lot. I've been able to do a lot of servant work in communities. So I think with this whole violent piece, again, as I look at it, 2021, before getting someone a job or in a training program, if you're working with a cohort, working or helping or serving a cohort that's challenged with violence, gun violence, I think the first thing you have to consider trying to do is getting them some kind of treatment, or it's spiritual, holistic, or traditional mental health treatment. Once a person gets treated and they start to heal, then I believe the skills that they possess, now they're able to work functionally. The good news is this. Philadelphia, like many cities, is getting ready to get over $1 billion. And so there's really no excuse for the city entities, governments to be able to sit down and understand what they need to do for the violence in the city, because now they have a number of different resources. And I don't think it's just going to be money. I do think, to your point earlier, with the escalation in mental health challenges, they are going to get phenomenal mental health supports. So I believe if the city government, mayor, city council are held accountable to provide the needed services for all these areas that are high crime, challenges, etc., the window of opportunity is right now for them to do it. No excuse. So WURD, WURD family, along with the station, we have to keep the focus and the pressure on them to do exactly that, to use this window of opportunity via this influx of money and services from the government that help the people. If we don't do that, then they will find more 22-year-old people to give ghost money and ghost contracts with. So that's our part. We got to hold them accountable and make sure that our people get healed, not just jobs, get the healing that they need. And then all the rest of the things, jobs, training, etc. as well. Or simultaneously. Either one.
Thank you, Brother Mike. Thank you, Brother Mike. I appreciate you. I am loving the conversation that we're having around solutions. Brother Mike hit a nail on the head that I am going to talk about when I come back quickly from the break around the funding that is coming to Philadelphia and making sure that it gets into the right places, that we don't just hand it out to one or two organizations, and then we have tone-deaf people coming into the communities that are looking down on our people, the people that they're supposed to be working with. There needs to be training too around how to talk to people from different cultures. It's just not acceptable to do what we've always done and think it's going to be okay because we have the money at our hands. And at some point that money just becomes blood money, really, because we're just not doing what we're supposed to do to help the people that we're writing all these grants for, to say that we can help, right? We've got lots of data. We come into the community, use all the data, collect data from the people there, use it to write grants, and then it's really not helping anyone. So we've got to get better at that. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month, and with the Level Up 21, Let me start again. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. The deadline for submissions has now been extended to March 19th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information, or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Okay, Her's new fire potato chips and cheese curls, they are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But you know, it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Her's.
Hey, WURD family, Reverend Leroy with a boss good recommendation for Clark Roofing. I found them to be a solid business, honest, dependable, fast, and clean workers. Mr. Clark stands by his work. Call him at 215-365-7663.
Call Clark Roofing and ask for a second-generation master roofer, Calvin Clark. Clark Roofing professionally installs a variety of roofing systems for your home or businesses. Call Clark Roofing at 215-365-7663 or visit their website
at clarkroofingpa.com.
Are you looking for a job? Do you have skills in design, engineering, or computer programming? Get ready for Network, a virtual job fair with Technically Media. On Thursday, March 18th from noon to 6 p.m., the employers at Network are looking to learn more than just what's on your resume. Your personality and fit have real weight in the interviews. Technically is a partner of WURD Radio's Livelihood Initiative. Register for Network, the virtual tech job fair taking place on March 18th at WURDworks.com.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia. Independent Black Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I'm getting ready to have a conversation with Vincent Better, who is a digital media professional. He is Vice President of Philadelphia Initiatives for Technically Media. Previous to joining the team, he served as an independent consultant and the Vice President of Digital Solutions at PennLive.com, one of the leading digital properties in the state of Pennsylvania. His strategies experience transcends both national brands and small local businesses. The native of Baltimore and Temple alum also enjoys cycling and live music. Good afternoon, Mr. Better. How are you?
I'm doing well. Good afternoon. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, it's so good. Vincent, why do I look like I know you?
You may. I mean, you know, I'm a familiar face around town.
Yeah. All right. So talk to us about this initiative that you have going on now. What does it mean for the average person in Philadelphia and beyond? Thank you for joining us, by the way.
Yes, you're welcome. Again, thank you for having me. So we're talking today about Network. Our Network is our tech recruiting event, which occurs this Thursday from 12 to 6 p.m. And it's a great opportunity for those that are interested in jobs in the technology field to learn more about the organizations that are looking for that type of work in an environment that's now virtual. Normally we would have this event at the Fillmore, but you know, CDC says not yet. So we're doing it all virtually this year. And there's going to be about 40 to 50 companies representing Philadelphia on down through DC and even out to Pittsburgh that are hiring for different technology roles, anywhere from beginner roles to intermediate to advanced. They can be working in those specific cities. They can be working remote. So we hope everyone can come out. It's a free event and at least learn more about the opportunities that these companies represent, not just now, but through the balance of this year and even into the future beyond that.
So talk to us a little bit about some of these technology jobs, right? What are we talking about? So give people an idea, because sometimes when people hear tech, they think, you know, programming. They think other things other than, you know, just the basic things that we've always talked about. So give them a general idea of what these tech jobs are and where people may find themselves ready to apply for them.
Yeah, so tech is a pretty wide-ranging word these days, as you're alluding to. So there are going to be jobs that are, you know, from the fundamental level of, hey, are you familiar with a technology? Doesn't mean you have to be a programmer per se, but are you familiar with the technology? You may not think yourself a technologist, but guess what? If you use QuickBooks, then you probably are closer than you think. If you use the web, you're closer than you think. If you have a cell phone, you probably are closer than you think. So there's a lot of these roles that are up and coming available that these organizations will represent. And of course, at the other end of the spectrum, there are roles that are very specific for architects, engineers, and folks that have at least some experience in the space, or maybe have gone through a program like Tech Elevator or a Launch Code or Resilient Coders, the item and their AWS programming, any of those things that really develop the skills for someone that may be new to the technology scene, maybe pivoting from another career type, and want to learn more about what the opportunities are in that space.
Okay. Are they all opportunities that are for college graduates, or are there opportunities open for people who may just be high school graduates too?
College graduates degrees are not required. Many companies, as we are seeing move forward, are really re-examining what that college degree means in a space like technology, where you may be learning something that could be applied, but not necessarily that role specifically what you've been studying. So most of these opportunities do not require college degrees. Certainly high school diploma is going to be required. Some of them do require a certificate program. Some are going to be apprenticeships and internships. So there's a range of opportunities that will be here.
And that's why I asked you that, because we have young people who are interested in tech that didn't have the opportunity. And so if there are apprenticeship programs, or, you know, anywhere where they can follow and learn and then possibly get a job, that would be excellent. You also spoke of the fact that they may not have to travel because of COVID, that they can probably get the job and work from home, correct?
That is correct. That's correct. We're seeing a lot of that type of shift in our workforce, generally speaking, not just in technology jobs, but just in the workforce across the board, where as companies remain somewhat displaced, they're still being productive. So they're acknowledging that, you know, proximity may not be as significant to the building of that business as it once was, and are open. Many companies that we've worked with in the past have said, you know, culture is very important to them. Culture is still very important. It's very much on the minds of these organizations, and how they want to create an environment where people can work together, but realizing technology has shifted that quite a bit. And how do they foster that same kind of culture, albeit now with people scattered around the city, around the state, around the country, around the world even.
Tell me some of the people who are potentially wanting to employ, and here's my next question beyond that. Are they also willing to work within certain schools to help develop the future tech leaders? Because what are the numbers looking in terms of jobs available versus people there available for those jobs?
Right, so the companies do work somewhat with the schools. When you say schools, I presume you mean high schools.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So they do work with some of the schools, but there are great programs that actually do that much better than an individual company would. So when you look at companies like Coded by Kids, for example, that has a great platform for really exploring and exposing technology to a younger group of what I call kids. They're not really kids, but you know, just a group of young adults. The Urban Technology Project, another great platform for these internships and apprenticeships that really support getting the kids, as I call them, exposed to these opportunities. Many of these companies are not household names. They're not Comcast. Like, everyone knows Comcast.
Right.
Aramark. You know, we see the big buildings. But there are many of these companies that are small, 20, 50, 100 people, that are operating in spaces that aren't entirely visible, but represent great opportunities, and just they just don't know sometimes how to reach the community, and sometimes the community is just unfamiliar with who they are because their name isn't at the top of a 50-story building in the city.
Right, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because I have young people that I've mentored here in Philadelphia that actually moved out to the West Coast to work for small startup tech companies that are now vice president, right? They went in on the ground level, started working with them, became really knowledgeable in what they were doing, and the opportunities are there, because these small startup companies that a lot of people don't know about, to your point, end up becoming huge over time, right? Nobody knew who Google was when they first started, right? So, and we're watching so many of these little companies, because we need more tech. I mean, there's so much is changing so quickly. Even myself, you know, I used to think I was savvy with the internet. Oh Lord, the older I get, the more I struggle. I'm like, this is crazy, because I cannot keep up with the lingo and all the different applications that are coming out there. Let me ask you this. Are there opportunities available for young people who are gamers who would like to be able to create gaming programs?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those opportunities are all the time now. I mean, that may be reflected at a given job fair. But if you aren't familiar with Nerd Street Gamers, young people, you need to look them up. They are doing fantastic things in the city. And for those of you who also don't know, we're in the throes of building a gaming arena in South Philly. So that's not because we're not going to know what to do with it once it's built. It's because all of the talent and all of the skills necessary to manage that are being developed right now. Yeah. So get familiar with Nerd Street, learn more about what the stadium project is. There's a lot that's going on in the gaming space. We just saw Roblox go public and raise, I don't know how much money they raised. It's kind of ridiculous.
Roblox. So you're like, I don't even know who these people are. So tell us about Roblox so that folks can get an understanding of these companies.
Roblox is it's an international gaming platform. You know, I think literally kids start playing it probably in middle school or even earlier. Wow. And it just continues to grow. So the way that these gaming platforms work is, you know, there's lots of monetization that goes on. You know, you might buy a little thing here, a little thing there. So that's how the games actually monetize the players. So the game itself might be free, but if you want to get that extra, you know, jetpack for your speedboat or whatever, that might cost you $1. And so all these microtransactions happen within the game to make the game more enjoyable for the gamer. And that's where a lot of the revenue comes from. So when a company like Roblox goes public, it's not because they are selling subscriptions like a Netflix, for example. They're really just expanding their player base and all the microtransactions that occur within the games.
Wow. And so have they gone public yet? They're public now?
Oh yeah, they went public in the past week or so.
Okay, and what did each share cost when they went public in the past week? Because I guarantee you in about a year, nobody will be able to buy it.
Right.
So what did it start at per share?
Yeah, I don't recall what the share price was, but their valuation's in the hundreds of millions already.
Wow.
So it's happening.
And so I'm asking you these questions because I want young people and the not so young to understand that technology it's here. It's not the wave of the future. It is absolutely upon us. And there's several ways we can access it and pivot from what we've always known to earn income in another way, right? And level you up to getting to being so ready for what's happening around you, that if you're working with this company and you want to move to another company, you at least have some knowledge base underneath your belt so that you can get it moving. How do people reach you now to get become a part of this?
Well, the network event, which is coming on this Thursday, again, from 12 to 6. And even, I will say this as well, even if you're not specifically in the market for a job right now, I mean, come and just see what these companies are talking about, right? Get familiar with what they are doing from a financial technology, from a gaming space, from the healthcare space. Yes. There's lots of different industries that tech represents. It's not just technology. Technology is used within the industry, right? So there are some companies that make money off of their technology, like a QuickBooks, as I mentioned before. And there are other companies that just use technology to further their business for their processes on the back end. So get familiar with what companies are actually in the software space and which are just using technology to help their businesses grow, because they're very different, but some of the same skill sets could apply. And the more familiar you are with those types of organizations, the more you can figure out, okay, do I want to be on this side? Do I still want to be in that industry? You know, it's not winner take all one way or the other. So it's a great opportunity to learn about what kinds of skills are being looked for and say, oh, do I want to be a Java? Do I want to be a C+? Do I want to be an Azure? Do I want to be a Ruby Rails? Like, I know you don't know what any of those things are probably.
You are such a techie.
Yeah, but all those things are how these tech jobs are coming to life. And expanding here in the city. And every organization, no matter what the size, they need somebody on the tech side, whether it's one person, 10 people, 100 people, they're going to need someone to help them continue to scale their business. And technology is the best way to help support that.
So how can they reach you now? How can they get involved in this thing on Thursday? What do they need to do to sign up?
Yes, I'm going to get the URL for you right now because I did not have it up as we were talking. So bear with me for one moment while I do that. No. So the site, I mean, the event is free, as I mentioned before. It is this Thursday, 12 to 6. They can register online. It's a pretty long URL.
Okay.
So I'm going to say it slowly. It is excelevents.com/e/network 2021. And so I will say that again, Excel Events, all one word together. And that's Excel, ACCEL.
Oh, thank you. ACCEL. See, I spelled it the wrong way. ACCEL.
ACC events.com //E, another /network, NETWORK 2021. That is the URL where you can go to and register for the event, and feel free to take advantage and again, pop in anytime between 12 and 6. You don't have to be there at 12. You don't have to stay until 6. It's an open virtual event, so you can come and go anytime during that window.
So someone just texted me and said Roadblock started at $6.30 a share in June. It is now $41 a share. So if you want to, you can see something like this is going to shoot into the stratosphere. So if you only buy 10 or 15 shares, and I know these are ways that I'm thinking of my people to try and earn income, build income beyond just doing a 9-to-5, right? You get a little bit of extra money, buy some stocks and hold on to it for companies like Roblox that's going to grow. And I'm not promoting them because I don't know them, never heard of them until today. But
we're not giving advice. We're not
that's
giving
right.
Advice.
There you go. There you go. We're not giving advice. We're just talking about the fact that when we look at these things, it was the same thing with Facebook and Apple, and one of my oldest son works in the tech industry and has been able to work from home and is doing quite well. So there are spaces. We just have to encourage our young people to get into those spaces and make it work. So it is Excel Events, ACCELEVENTS. Mike, put this in. Mike, my producer just put it into the Facebook page. I love it.
Yeah.
And it's from 12 to 6 p.m., correct?
Correct.
And do they need to bring a resume, or what do they need to do to make this the best experience possible for them, other than just showing up and watching all of this unfold?
Well, yes, you can register for free. As part of the follow-up to registration, you can upload a resume if you want to. You don't have to. It's not mandatory or required. But that will give the companies that may want to engage with you a bit more information about your background. So it's up to each registrant if they want to provide that information or not. But again, that doesn't preclude you from participating in the event if you decide you don't want to provide that information.
Right. Mr. Bett, I love your name. Thank you so much for being a part of this and letting us know what is possible. I love these kinds of conversations because people often think, only certain jobs are available to us, not recognizing that there's so much more we can have access to that is there. So good luck on Thursday. And I'd like to have you come back and follow up on, because I would love to talk tech with you, right? Around what are the brand new businesses that are out here? How can people get involved with them from the ground level? What does that look like for us? And what does that look like in the things that we're purchasing every single day that might be a part of these brands that we know nothing about? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd be happy to come back and chop it up some more.
All right. Thank you, sir. You have a good one. How can they reach you before they...
Sure. You can reach me via email. It's very simply Vincent@technicallymedia.com. That's the best way to get me. I'm also on LinkedIn if you want to try to locate me there. I'm pretty easy. I'm the only Vincent Better, I think, on LinkedIn. So that should be pretty easy. So happy to field any questions up to, during, or after the event. Always looking to be a resource where I can.
All right, so this is Vincent Better from technicallymedia.com. There's an event, a job resource event that's happening on Thursday. You go online to register at excelevents.com/E/network 2021. Please go and see what they're about. Upload your resume if you so desire. But I believe this is an opportunity that many people can take advantage of. He also said you do not need to have a college degree to do this, which opens up the door even wider for a bigger swath of people, which I loved hearing. And then the other thing that picked up in my head was, wow, all these little tech companies out here that we don't know their names, like they're not Comcast and Aramark and Google, but they're there and they're growing in stature and size because we need them, right? The information highway is growing at an alarming pace in a good way. And so you don't want to be left behind on the bus when you could be on the rail going right along with it. Thank you so much, Mr. Better. It's always a pleasure. Have a good afternoon, okay?
You too. Thank you for having me again. Thank you.
Bye-bye. That was a good conversation. That was a really good conversation. That was such a good conversation. I love this kind of stuff. Let's see. Oh, and it shot up to $71 a share on Friday. So one of the things my oldest son would always say to me when he was in college, he would say, Mommy, look at the, not yet, Michael, wait until after the break, please. He would say, go look at the shares that are like $3 a share, $5 a share, $10 a share. And he said, you just can look and see, following the trends, depending on what they're doing, because a lot of the things that we buy every day, like our sneaker shoelaces and those kinds of things, you know, if you have expendable money, especially with this the $1,400 that many of you are going to get, if that's expendable cash, I'm not talking about the people who are barely making it and need to use that money to pay rent and for bills, but for those of you who are getting it and it's becoming expendable cash for you, use it to invest in something, right? One of the indicators in Black communities is that we just don't have any wealth, and this is one way to build wealth, to invest into something other than, you know, making somebody else richer by buying sneakers, shoes, a pair of loafers, a new refrigerator. Now, if you need a new refrigerator, yes, but if you're going to buy a new refrigerator just because it's the latest brand, please, please, please invest your money, right, into something that will continue to build and work for you. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634, and Michael is giving me 634-8065 is the number to call in. Hold on 1 second, please. Let me give you this. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. The deadline for submissions has now been extended to March 19th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. We'll be right back after these messages.
Saying, give thanks and praise to the Lord, and I will feel alright. Saying, let's get together and feel alright. Whoa, 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 whoa. Let them all pass all their dirty remarks. There is one question I'd really love to ask. Is there a place for the hopeless sinners who has hurt all mankind, just a Savior's own belief? One love. What about a one heart? What about let's get together and feel alright? As it was in the beginning, one love. So shall it be in the end. One heart. Alright. Thanks and praise to the Lord.
Need to replace your Social Security card? In most states, you can request one online with a My Social Security account. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can also get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
It's Women of Color Her Story Month 2021 in the city of sisterly affection. This is a time to celebrate the power, legacy, and achievement of Black women. Brought to you by New Voices for Reproductive Justice, based here in Philadelphia. This year's theme is Black Majesty. You are invited to 4 virtual events from February 15th to March 15th. Visit womenofcolorherstory.org and WOC Her Story on Facebook and Twitter for full event details.
Family Therapy Vignette Moments with Dr. Lucille Ijoy.
Intimacy and truth during pandemic times. The 4 kinds of love: sex, eros, philia, agape. The 3 ways to say I love you: information, intimacy, behavior. Information, intimacy, behavior. Remember, this is a pandemic time for the world. It's time to gather around and be truthful and real and honest and joyful. Hold hands and smile, for goodness sake. Don't forget the children, the teenagers, the older generations. Music and dance time is any time, even if you hum or do the electric slide. Blessed assurance. I sing because I'm happy, Sam Cooke. Shake, or the Jackson 5. I gotta be starting something. Yes, dancing is allowed during pandemic times. Oh, happy day.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, and if this is the first time you have been on, you've listened to me, I have been on a mission to get people who are running for judge in Montgomery County, Delaware County, wherever county you are, and Philadelphia County, to come on and talk about what platform they're running on, because it is a position that is incredibly powerful, and we tend to let that position go by not showing up in the primaries. We tend to let the position go by saying we don't know who these people are. So I'm giving you an opportunity to learn who each and every judge is that wants to come on this radio show. You don't have to come on here if you don't want to, but I want to give the WURD listeners people who are willing to come on and talk about the platforms that they're running on so that they can make an educated decision. We are not endorsing anyone here on the radio station. This is literally about really giving people the platform to understand who these folks are, because the judges are the ones we understand the least, right? We see that they've been endorsed by such and such and endorsed by this one and that one, and then we know nothing about them until we have to stand up in front of them for a case, either civil or criminal or whatever else that's going on. And so judges matter, and that is why I am doing what I am doing. Nicole Phillips has spent her career as an advocate in the courtroom, a servant in her community, and as a mentor to young people. She is a resident of Montgomery County whose children have been students in the Montgomery County schools. She has spent the majority of her nearly 20-year career as a prosecutor. In that role, she represented the victims of southeastern Pennsylvania in complex criminal matters such as robberies, narcotics trafficking, human trafficking, and white-collar crime. Nicole began her career as an assistant district attorney, where she handled cases ranging from driving under the influence, attempted murder, robbery, rape, and sexual assault, child molestation, and domestic violence-related crimes. Nicole has tried hundreds of jury and bench trials in local and federal courts. Currently, she is a partner at Montgomery, McCracken, Walker, and Rhodes, LLP. Her devotion to community and commitment to public service are why she wishes to use her experience and expertise to now serve the people of Montgomery County as a judge of the Court of Common Pleas. Welcome to The Source, Nicole Phillips.
Thank
How
you.
are you?
It's an honor to be here with you, Miss Andrea. Yes. Besides the fact we share the same first name, it just sounds more beautiful with you, you know.
It is. I did not know your first name was Andrea.
Yes, it is. That's where the A Nicole, yes.
Okay. So, you heard me saying in the opening salvo that we really want to educate people more about the folks that are running for judges. What would normally happen when people are running for judges, they'll say, well, this is who the party endorses, this is who the bar association, and we know nothing about these people. So
Right.
What would you want to tell the people in Montgomery County who you are and why you are running for this position?
You're absolutely right, Andrea, when you said what you said, that you know, we oftentimes don't know what happens in the courts until we get a summons for jury service, until a family member says, I got in trouble, until there's a divorce, and then we know nothing about the system, and it's overwhelming. And so I think the first thing I want people to know, just like you said, is what happens in the courts. You know, we get excited about our presidential elections, and I'm super excited, you know, that we are on the other side of that presidential election. But we're not in a presidential election year. We kind of lose interest in the process, right? And so, you know, politics really is all local. You know, we may not ever see the inside of the White House or the Supreme Court or what have you, but you may see the inside of a courtroom in Montgomery County or Philadelphia County or whatever it is. And so when you go into that courtroom, you want to have a judge that is going to be fair, that's going to give you your fair day in court, who's going to let you get your case on, either pro se by yourself or with your attorney. You want to have a judge who's going to recognize your humanity, who's going to treat you with dignity and respect, no matter what side of that courtroom you come in on, and what side of the V, if you will, of that court case you're on. And you want a judge who's going to take their job seriously, who's not going to just have black robe syndrome, as they say, and just say, call me judge, but who's going to take every case seriously, listen to that evidence objectively, and have an experienced attorney behind that judge title who's going to properly divide that evidence and listen and come up with a fair and just result. And that's the type of judge that I intend to be, no matter what courtroom I'm in Montgomery County, because the judges in Montgomery County rotate between 5 different types of courts. And that's the civil, the criminal, juvenile court, family court, and orphans court. Those are the types of courts that we have at the trial level in our Pennsylvania state courts.
So just I get this correct. It's civil, criminal, juvenile, orphans, and family court, correct?
That's right.
I was writing as you spoke, so that I can keep track here. Tell me why you have decided to run for becoming a judge, and then tell us what you have seen in the system that prompted you to get there.
Right. So as you've said, I've spent nearly 20 years of my career as an attorney. 17 of those years have been in the courtroom, most of those as a prosecutor, but more recently as a defense attorney and a civil litigator. So I come with a well-rounded background of experience, most importantly, trial experience, so that when attorneys come before me, I'm going to know how things are supposed to go because I've done it for so long. I'm at a place in my career, and I'll tell you this, Andrea, I went to law school because I wanted to use my law degree to make an impact in people's lives and to make a positive impact in people's lives. I spent that for 20 years as an advocate, and now I believe it's the proper season in life to take that experience and bring it to the bench, in addition to my unique experience from my community involvement, from my being a mom, of being active in my church. And all of those things are life experience that are just as important, if you will, as the professional experience to make you the type of judge that will have a positive impact on people's lives. So I've looked at my career as a seasons. Where can I make the most impact with what I have under my belt so far? And this has brought me to the bench. And I believe that this is the time, and I'm the right person for Montgomery County to make a positive impact in our county from the bench.
What does it take to run for a judgeship in Montgomery, Philadelphia County? Because I also want people to know that this is not a process that it should be taken lightly. So explain to people, what does it require for you to run for such a position as this?
That's absolutely right. I went through several types of vetting. You mentioned it earlier. We went through a rigorous process with the Montgomery Bar Association. And that bar association is basically our peers, other attorneys who are practicing in Montgomery County. And they reviewed an extensive packet of qualifications and community experience, and also a lot of references. I had to submit references of judges I practiced in front of, other attorneys I've been against or worked with, attorneys in Montgomery County and beyond. I probably submitted about 20 attorneys, and I think they called them all to see what type of quality attorney and person. Do I have the temperament? How do I work with my peers and with my adversaries? And went through an extensive interview process with about 30 of those attorneys on they call the Judicial Selection Committee. Then I went through another round of vetting through the Democratic Party. Running similar process, about 30 individuals, leaders, and community folks from Montgomery County, representing all parts of the county to make sure that that representation was there. Again, application vetting, reference vetting, and extensive interview. So I went through that round of process. In Montgomery County, we also have a pretty serious endorsement process. So that party Judicial Selection Committee recommended someone to be endorsed by the party to run on the party's ticket, and I thankfully was that endorsed candidate.
Oh, so you were endorsed. Okay.
Yes.
All right. What happens if someone isn't endorsed? Is it recommended that they try to run anyway?
No, in Montgomery County, it's requested or recommended that you step aside and allow the party to put its resources and support behind the endorsed candidates. Now, someone could, make that decision and run without the party support, but it's requested, and in this cycle, the other candidates did do that.
Okay.
And I would have done that if I was not endorsed.
If you were not endorsed. Okay. When is the election day in Montgomery County? When is primaries day? It's everywhere in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Right?
Primary day in Pennsylvania is May 18th. But we still have mail-in voting opportunities here in Pennsylvania. And I believe there is still time to apply for your mail-in ballot. And mail-in ballots, I believe, are to begin going out by the end of this month if they're ready. Remember in the last election cycle, we had to wait for some things to happen in Harrisburg before that process went underway. So you will be able to vote by mail-in ballots again this season. And then our general election, November 2nd, will be the same.
Okay. Okay. All right. So what do you hope to accomplish should you become judge? We see all the things that are happening right now around the country. What would you add to the process should you become judge in the Montgomery County Courthouse?
You know what, Andrea, and going back to your question about why, we need fair judges. We need judges with life experience and professional experience. We need judges who treat people fairly, no matter what side of that courtroom you come on. If you're plaintiff and defendant, if you're government, if you're victim, if you're defendant, you are human first. And you have a family. You're somebody's child. You're somebody's brother, husband, uncle, whomever. You are connected to a family. And so you need somebody that recognizes that and treats you accordingly and your case accordingly. We need judges that are going to be fair. We recognize in this last election cycle how important it was for judges to make fair decisions and not along party lines, right? And that's important. We need judges who are going to look at cases and say, what is the right result here? What is just in this case? And just is not a cookie cutter formula, right? Because again, the folks in that courtroom are connected to a family and a community. What is right? And that's what we need more of. And we need to continue to diversify our benches. Not just because we're the only folks that have, we have the market on fairness or anything of that nature, but there's a life experience that makes us uniquely able to view things from a certain lens. It's a lens it's a breadth, it's a broadness of, if you will, of perspective. And I believe that's the type of judge I will be. I know that's the type of judge I will be, and it will only make our community better. And that's what I'm here to do, to make our community better from the bench.
So you can see now why I'm interviewing every judge, right? I don't care where they come from, black, white, Republican, Democrat. If you were running for judgeship, because I think the judgeships are taken for granted, and that people people have become judges off of 2 or 3 votes because the apathy is so real. And I really want to shut down the apathy around why we do what we do, and so that people can see your faces, hear where you're coming from, see what your platforms are.
Right.
So Montgomery County is what percentage minorities, and how many judges of color do you have on the bench in Montgomery County right now?
So Montgomery County is about 10% African American, and there's a little over 800,000 people that live in Montgomery County. We know that Montgomery County is the 3rd largest county in the state, in the Commonwealth, if you will. Currently, we have about 24 judges on the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas, and that has currently 4 African Americans on it. The seat that I am looking to fill will be vacated by the first and only African American woman,
Judge Sherilyn Austin.
That's right. That's right. She is decided not to seek retention, so her seat will be open. So it will be my honor to actually continue her legacy and fill those shoes.
Okay. So Judge Austin is a friend of mine.
Yes.
In fact, before I got into all of this with everything with WURD, where I can no longer go through all of this, there was a team of us that worked with Judge Austin to get her on the bench.
Okay.
So,
yes.
It's serendipitous that I'm having this conversation with you, because I didn't know any of this stuff, right? I didn't know that. I knew she was getting off the bench. I didn't know that that was a spot that you wanted to try and fill.
Yes.
It is always a pleasure talking to people. It's clear you're passionate about this. It is clear that you have the expertise to do this. What it's going to come down to now is the voters, and that you go out there and continue to let people know what is it that you're doing, as I am going to ask all the other judges that's come over here to have a conversation about how this judgeship run. Is this the Commonwealth Court? Is it the I don't want to say the lowest court in the Commonwealth, in Montgomery County? Is it? No, it's not. You have
No. Right. We have magisterial district courts. Right. So the Common Pleas Court is the next court above that. We're the trial court. Yes.
All right. So Leon from West Philadelphia says he has a question for you, Ms. Phillips. Leon, are you there?
Good afternoon. I have a problem with the policy of asking other judicial candidates to drop out of the race because the politicians didn't endorse them. I think the ultimate extension of that would be we would have a bunch of judges all endorsed by the establishment and not by the people. And I would personally, I would be reluctant to vote for a candidate who supported a policy like that.
Yeah. So that was why I asked you that question, Nicole, because there are people who believe themselves to be qualified, but were not endorsed by the party establishment. Montgomery County has a gentlemanly, womanly, if you're not endorsed kind of thing, but there are plenty of other places, like this gentleman is saying, where people believe themselves. Tamika Lane, Judge Tamika Lane, for once, who they were telling her she shouldn't, she couldn't, and she ran anyway and she won, right? So what are your thoughts around that, as this gentleman is talking about?
I certainly understand his perspective, and I know that there are plenty of places that do not have this this structure in place. And I totally understand what he's saying. I will just say that at this point, this is where the process is in Montgomery County. That's why they do go through a very serious vetting process with the Judicial Selection Committee, with the representative group from around the county. And this is what has been done. It doesn't stop those that decided they want to run it, and people have done that in the county, where they have run without the party's endorsement. And there has been at least one occasion where I know in the past that person has gone on to be successful. So it's everyone's choice. I think, again, I would have if it had been me, I would have probably likely respected the system as well. Because that's what we have in place at this time. But I certainly understand where the gentleman is coming from.
Leon, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah.
And I also respect her position. I just don't think it's good for good government, because like the establishment oftentimes has an interest that's adverse to the people.
Yes, and he makes a valid point. He makes a valid point, Ms. Phillips. He does.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And like I said, I totally understand, the perspective. And there's a lot of systems that don't work this way, that do have an open primary. And so, Philadelphia operates that way. I believe there's a lot of folks that are running for, about 8 or 9 positions. So it's an open primary. So it's done the other way, like I said, with open primaries. And I certainly understand that perspective. And I certainly understand the benefits of that perspective. But, I understand this process as well. So absolutely.
Yeah.
His points are well taken. Absolutely.
Anything else you need, sir?
No, thank you very much.
Oh, you're quite welcome. I'm so glad we were
Thank
able
you.
to answer your question. His question is a valid one because we have seen people who would otherwise be able to run for judgeship that was kind of pushed off to the side, right? Depending on the county that you live in. And so the frustration has been for especially Black and brown people around, people who think they should run, they've been told not to run. And I do get the situation in Montgomery County because the vetting process is really extreme, right? They make sure that and if at any point any judicial candidate thought that they were ultimately qualified but was not chosen, then is there a place for you to if they tell you that you're not chosen, is there a place for you to go and say, to ask them
challenge that or something like that?
Take another look at it. Yes.
I'm not sure about that process. I'm sure there is, but I'm not sure that there's an exact mechanism. The last thing I will add, after that Judicial Selection Committee makes their recommendation, that recommendation goes to the larger body of Montgomery County operates by committee leaders, area leaders, what have you. So on the night of the endorsement process, that was back in February. There were about 500 of those leaders, again, from around the county involved in that meeting. Of course, this year it was by Zoom. This information was presented to the committee, and they ultimately vote to accept or not accept the recommendation of the Judicial Selection Committee.
Okay.
There were instances, not particularly with my judicial office, but with others, where people from that group of 500 did make recommendations other than what was presented to them. And there was debate about that. There were presentations, and then there was ultimately a vote by the larger body. So there is another level of check on that Judicial Selection Committee that I meant to add in. It's still kind of that gentleman's, like you said, or womanly agreement with the others. And I will give a shout, if you will, to the others that I was in the race with. Highly qualified individuals. You're absolutely right. And highly respect all of them. And also, respect their decision. And some of them actually also expressed support for my endorsement, being the endorsed candidate. So he's absolutely right. There's a lot of good people, a lot of qualified people, a limited amount of seats.
Hold on one second, please. Let me take a quick station break. I'm like 2 minutes over just listening to you.
I'm probably because I'm talking too much.
All right. It's all right. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Just one more step. You got it.
You're doing great. This is the sound of a nationally ranked top rehabilitation hospital, home to the largest collection of robotics in the United States, where we continually exceed patient expectations. Because no injury is too severe or too minor for our care.
There you go.
This is the sound of success. Moss Rehab. Challenge accepted.
The Black Words Book Club. WURD Radio's new monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. For April, WURD Radio is partnering with the Free Library of Philadelphia and showcasing their pick for its annual citywide reading program, One Book, One Philadelphia, entitled The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it, Tuesday, April 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color. As a community service, WURD Radio and the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium wants to keep you informed about where to receive the COVID-19 vaccine. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium offers COVID-19 vaccines and COVID-19 testing for the week of March 14th. No appointment is necessary. Must live in a hardest hit zip code, and you must be Phase 1 eligible. The following vaccinations take place at the Leah Cora Center from 10 a.m. till 4 p.m. Sunday, March 14th, for distribution of the Moderna vaccine only. Monday, March 15th, for distribution of the Johnson & Johnson vaccine and the second shot of Moderna. And Tuesday, March 16th, for distribution of the Moderna vaccine only. Stay informed and stay well with WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on WURDRadio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, no, we're not having a political action committee over here. This is A. Nicole Phillips, who is running for judge at the Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas. I have decided in the last month and a half, actually since January, that I would begin interviewing people who were running for judgeship so that the general community could get to understand who they were voting for, what was being placed in them. And so because we are nonpartisan here and we don't endorse any particular candidate, I open it up for all judges to call. I don't care where if you're running within the sound of our voices in Montgomery, Chester, Delaware, Philadelphia County, and you want people to get to know who you are, please do, because we're finding that it's unconscionable that people are becoming judges off of less than 3 or 5 votes because there's apathy out here. So I want to put their faces in front of you so you can see them and make a decision. The last question I have for you is, how can people find you so that they can learn more about you? Right? And do you have conversations that are happening between now and the May primaries that people can be a part of?
Yes, absolutely. So first I'll put my website out there. It's friendsofnicolephillips.org. And then follow me on Facebook, which is Nicole Phillips for Judge, Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas. We are definitely going to be having a lot of events. We have a women's history event we're working on that's going to be coming out, and we're going to put that out, and we're going to have a lot of events throughout this election cycle. I invite people to come and hear from me, ask their questions. We are still meeting with a lot of committees and with folks I'm going to be on with the NAACP out of Cheltenham tonight and many other groups. So yes, absolutely getting my word out, and I want to have conversations.
Yes, Nicole Phillips, candidate for Montgomery County Court of Common Pleas. It was a pleasure talking to you. We'll keep our eye and see what's going on out there. And I'm grateful to hear that you're willing to take people's questions, because not everybody's going to agree. Not everybody's going to want. I love the way you handled Mr. Leon, when he called in, because he had a valid question, right? One that we don't like to talk about, and that's, people who are, when the party system pushes people out, and you handled it well. So thank you so much, young lady.
Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're quite welcome, and I wish you well, okay?
Thank you. All right, take care.
All right, bye-bye. Oh, that was good. I mean, I've been interviewing judges left, right, and center in these Wacondan streets, literally, because we keep hearing, we don't know about our judges. We don't know who these people are. We just, and folks usually wait until 2 days before primaries. Oh, vote for this one, this one, this one. I'm giving you all of March, all of April. Anybody who's running for judgeship and wants to talk about, listen, I can't, again, this is not about endorsing you. This is about getting people to learn who you are, why you're running for your position, and giving them the knowledge base so that they can find you, show up for your meetings, so that they can make a knowledgeable decision about whether they want to vote for you or not. You can't say that on this radio station you did not get the opportunity to learn who these judges are. So, and people have been reaching out to me, and I told them, go to Brianna B. Brown at WURDradio.com. I'm not doing my own booking. Brianna does it, so that she can get you into time slots, 20-minute time slots, so that people can learn about you. And I thank you, those of you who have been reaching out, who are running for judgeships and want to talk about what you're doing so that people can get to know who you are. Because I'm telling the folks at WURD listening audience, if you don't know who these people are, why are you voting for them, right? Get to know who these people are and what they stand for. And you can tell from talking to somebody, what their mission and motives are. And you can also tell where their core values are coming from, just from having a simple conversation, just by starting the conversation, okay? While I'm at it, I just wanted to, let me just make sure that I do this. The Black doctors, COVID this week. The COVID-19 vaccine priority is 1B. These are the people high risk for exposure and perform essential duties. So these are the first responders, service providers working with high risk populations, public transit, food distribution, prep or service, child care or education providers, high volume essential retail and manufacturing of critical goods and services, the high-risk morbidity or mortality, persons working or residing in congregate residential settings, persons ages 75 plus, or persons with high-risk medical conditions, diabetes, hypertension, asthma, those kinds of things in Philadelphia. This week, the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium will be Sunday, March 14th, which was yesterday, Monday, March 15th, which is today, and Tuesday, March 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They are at the Leah Cora Center at 1776 North Broad Street in Philadelphia, PA 19121. Again, the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, was yesterday, today, and tomorrow, March 14th, 15th, and 16th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Leah Cora Center, 1776 North Broad Street, Philadelphia, PA 19121. If you have gotten your first vaccine already from the Black Doctors COVID, please, please, please double and triple check your emails. I missed several emails from them because it goes into a spam box, and so you think you don't get it. Go in there, type in COVID-19, go and type in vaccination, and you will see it. Some people who are supposed to have their vaccines later on got emails that said they're to come earlier on. So you want to pay attention so you don't miss your second vaccination date, okay? Dr. Ayla and group have been doing an amazing job. Just so you know, the Philadelphia neighborhoods and zip codes are the highest incidence of COVID-19 disease and death during this pandemic. Mount Airy, 19119. Logan Olney, 19120. Brewerytown, 19121. Northern Liberties, the Loft District, 19123. Juanita, Frankfurt, Feltonville, 19124. Oak Lane, 19126. Winfield, 19131. Strawberry Mansion, 19132. Fair Hill, North Philadelphia, 19133. Port Richmond, 19134. Tacony, 19135. Bridesburg, 19137. West Oak Lane, 19138. Walnut Hill West, 19139. Hunting Park, 19140. Logan, 19141. Elmwood, Southwest Philadelphia, 19142. University City, 19143. Germantown, 19144. Graduate Hospital, Naval Square, Southwest Center City, 19146. Frankfurt Mayfair, 19149. Cedarbrook, 19150. Overbrook Farms, Overbrook Park, 19151. And Eastwick, 19153. According to the Black Doctors COVID 19 consortium. This zip code list is subject to change, but these are the hardest hit zip code, and you must be phase 1B eligible to go and just walk and get your vaccine. You do not need to register online. You are listening to The Source. This next hour belongs to the WURD listeners. You can now call in and talk to Mother while I catch up on news that is going on in the city and beyond. 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Don't you rock my boat, 'cause I don't want my boat to be rocking. Oh please, don't you rock my boat, no, no, 'cause I don't want my boat to be rocking. I'm telling you that, I like it like this. So keep it steady like this. And you should know by now. I like it like this.
COVID-19 has highlighted the need for digital equity and internet adoption programs. Comcast's Internet Essentials program is designed to connect families to low-cost, high-speed internet and laptops so students can be ready for anything. Since 2011, Comcast has connected 4 million students from low-income families to the internet through its Internet Essentials program. Learn more about how Internet Essentials is connecting students.
Enterprise Exterminators, located 4943 Wayne Avenue, specializing in lantern flies, termites, bed bugs, fleas, mice, and roaches. Do-it-yourself kits are available. Call now, 215-849-7070.
WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. Level Up is a joint production of WURD Radio in Philadelphia, WVON in Chicago, and KJLH in Los Angeles. These 3 Black-owned stations are joining forces to host a historic, interactive, and multimedia contest spotlighting Black women-owned businesses in Philly, Chicago, and Los Angeles. The deadline for submissions is March 15th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to WURDradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. The 2021 Level Up contest is sponsored by Comcast, Bank of America, PECO, Keystone First, Thomas Jefferson University, and Jefferson Health.
COVID-19 has changed how we live and how we feel. But now there are vaccines, and they are the first step that lets us get back to the things we miss most, like spreading the word without spreading concern, girls tripping instead of solo sipping, and talking smack with the side of mac and cheese. It's okay to have questions about COVID-19 vaccines. Now, get the facts. Visit getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when COVID-19 vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
It's Women's History Month, and we want to honor Black women authors by helping you level up and read up. Join the Forward movement and get a free copy of a book from one of the most influential black women today. For a limited time, you can add The Little Book of Big Lies by Tina Lifford, She Came to Slay by Erica Dunbar, Sing Unburied Sing, a novel by Jesmyn Ward, or Acts of Faith by Jan Van Zant to your reading collection. Level up and read up. Go to wordradio.com/join now to join or renew your Forward membership and get your free book today.
This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, we had an intensive interview with A. Nicole Phillips, who was running for the Court of Common Pleas judge in Montgomery County. And we are working through interviewing all the people who are running for judgeships, whoever is interested, that is. I am not forcing anybody to come on here to talk. I'm just giving you the platform so that the people in the city and beyond can get to know who you are so that they can make informed decisions about who they're putting who are they looking for to vote on the bench. We do not endorse anyone at WURD Radio, and this is not an endorsement party. It is all about clarity and giving people knowledge, because here we keep hearing 2 days before the primaries, we don't even know who these people are. We don't know what they're doing. We don't know what they stand for. And so that's why we're doing that. Miss Mamie, hold on one second. Hold on one second, Michael. Miss Mamie, you said you wanted to the number to the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium. Get your pen and paper, Mama.
Got it, darling.
You got it?
Ma'am.
You ready? All right. So it's 484 270 6200.
I love your show. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, my sister. Thank you. So you know you don't have to call them, right? You can just show up, right?
It's just for today for the Johnson & Johnson, correct?
Yeah, I believe so. They have a lot of, they've been given the Johnson & Johnson, so people are taking the Johnson & Johnson vaccines. Yes, they have access to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine now. But yeah, call them to find out if today they're giving out the Johnson & Johnson. Okay?
Here. Stay safe.
All right, my sister. Hang on in there. We'll talk to you soon. Okay. All right. Who? I don't have. All right. Hold on one second, Michael. Hold on. Because let me just make sure. Let me make sure. I don't have that person on my thingy. So reach out to Brianna quickly for me, please. Let me finish doing this and then we'll go from there. Okay. Hold on one second. All right. Let me see. I just looked at this with the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, and for those of you who got your first vaccine in February, get your pen and your paper, please, because some of you are going to miss your deadlines for your second vaccine. They actually put it here on the website. If you got your first dose on so that was passed, let me see. The next one they have coming up, Tuesday, February 16th. If you got your first dose, your first vaccine on Tuesday, February 16th, your next dose is going to be today at the Leocora Center from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. So if you got your first dose on February 16th, your next dose is today. Okay? Don't have to call and just show up. If you got your dose on February 18th, your next dose is tomorrow. At the Leocora Center. If you got your first dose at February 19th or February 20th, that's Friday and Saturday when they had the mass vaccination, your next dose is Monday, March 22nd or Tuesday, March 23rd at the Leocora Center from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Again, if you got your first dose February 19th or the 20th when they had the mass vaccination, your second dose is Monday or Tuesday, March 22nd or 23rd at the Leocora Center. And so I'm going to suggest to you all to come on the website and go under testing and vaccination and see when your next thing is, okay? Okay, so the consortium phone number is 484-270-6200, okay? That's it for that one. Okay, so Michael, did you find out from Brianna who the next guest is, please? please let me know, because I don't want to, I just want to make sure that I'm doing the right thing here. This person is not in my lineup, and I don't want to not pull him in for me. Pull him in for me, please. Let me see who this is. Now this is live radio now, so, and Tamika, I see that you're on the line. Hold on one second. All right, so while I'm waiting for that to happen, Michael, let me talk to Tamika Lane, please. Good afternoon. Somehow I am not getting any sound. Michael? Anyone there? There we go. Okay. All right, I see what's going on here now. I'm glad. Okay. He's connecting these folks. All right, I see Judge Tamika Lane. This just in, New Jersey will let restaurants and some businesses expand indoor capacity to 50% next Friday as the Garden State continues to see a manageable decline in COVID-19 cases. And then we have also just in, Democrat Charles Booker, who nearly pulled off an upset in last year's Senate primary, said that he's strongly considering another run for the Senate against Republican Rand Paul. Booker is a Black former state lawmaker from Louisville, returned to progressive ideas such as a universal basic income and universal health care as he raised the prospect of mounting a 2022 campaign. So that's happening. All right, so let's go. What happened? I just lost Judge Tamika Lane. All right, Michael, I don't know what's going on, so just kind of help me here, please. Let me just, all right, hang on with us, guys. It's sometimes it's with live radio, you know, it's a little bit more challenging to kind of figure out who I have with whom. All right, let's see. And he's letting in, I just want to know who these people are that he's letting in. So Judge Tamika Lane is disconnected. See if she'll get back in, please. This is what happens when you have live radio, y'all. It's a lot of stuff going on. Okay, let's see. There's Judge Tamika Lane. All right, hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. I don't know. I know it's live radio. Sometimes these things happen. I try not to, you know, sweat the small stuff because it can be the small stuff.
I know that's right.
So I am assuming that Brianna gave you all the information to call in, right? I don't have you on my lineup, so she must have forgotten to add you. So that's okay, because guess what?
I can come back another day.
No, you cannot either. You stay right on here, and we will have this conversation. So in the interest of full disclosure, Judge Tamika Lane sat in a, was it a 6-10 month, what week? How long was that thing? The Center for Progressive Political Leadership.
Yeah, when did we do that?
That was 2009.
Oh, that was in 09?
That was 2009.
We had a great class. I mean, look at our class and everything that everybody's doing.
Brian Sims, you, Leon Koeniger Baker, Jeff, all of them.
Yeah, Tiffany Wilson. We had Malik Boyd. We had Ty down South Philly.
Yep. And we have Derek Green, who is now sitting council member, who was one of our faculty. Yes. So it's just amazing, that particular class.
Fire.
It is. Absolute fire. So again, I'm going to go through the whole thing of we're not here to endorse any particular candidate. She's just running for Superior Court. I don't have your stuff in front of me, so I just want to make sure you tell us who you are to the people and what you do now and why you're running for Superior Court.
Yes, thank you. So my name is Tamika Lane. I'm currently a judge on the Court of Common Pleas here in Philadelphia. I was born and raised in Philly. Down the bottom, for those familiar with West Philly, it's like the other side of the tracks for those who are not familiar. We had a strong sense of community. I love that neighborhood. I love it. And my grandmother worked in the cafeteria. My mother is now a retired police detective. And those two women had a huge influence as to who I am today, as well as, you know, the neighborhood people. You know how it was back in the day when we were raised. Everybody raised you around me. And they always instilled a strong sense of service in me. My grandmother would always say, it ain't about you, child, or it ain't about you, honey, or whatever word she chose to throw on the end of it, depending on her mood. But the gist was always the same, that it's not about me. It's never been about me, and it's still not about me. And I'm running for Superior Court. There's one vacancy for the Superior Court. And what the Superior Court does is that they look at criminal matters, civil matters, family matters, anything dealing with children. It's an error correcting court. So currently I'm on a trial court, the Court of Common Pleas. I'm in the major trial division. I'm the only one who does human trafficking cases, but I also do a lot of domestic violence and family violence cases, sexual assaults, but I do all serious felonies. And if you go to trial, let's say in my room, or if you are over in family court, having a custody issue with your children, or you slipped and fell at Acme and you trying to appeal the verdict because you didn't like it, then you take those appeals to the Superior Court.
Okay.
It is an error correcting court. So they're looking to see what went wrong, if anything, during your trial. And then if something was wrong, then it has to be corrected. And what it is that 70% of the docket in Superior Court, they're criminal cases. And we know who is disproportionately affected by criminal cases. And that is the final stop for most people in Pennsylvania, because the Supreme Court, they're not going to take those cases. So a lot of the times that's the final stop. And if we look at the appellate courts here in Pennsylvania, there are three. We had a Supreme Court, the Superior Court, and the Commonwealth Court. And there's only one person of color elected statewide to an appellate court, and that is Judge Carolyn Nichols, and she's currently on the Superior Court. And it's over 30 plus judges on the appellate court. So I think that that is important. When we look at the court, we're looking for a few things. First, we're looking at experience. Before I was even an attorney, I actually was a public school teacher. I taught 7th grade social studies. After law school, I clerked for a judge where I drafted opinions and did what the judge needed done. Then I was in the public defender's office. I was there for over 6 years. And that's when I was able to represent adults and juveniles who could not afford legal representation. And I represented them in complex criminal matters. I was a major trials attorney there. And I was also a supervisor. And I think that is so important, because there I was in court every day. Everyone knows public defenders and DAs, you're in court every day and you have a huge caseload. And I tried hundreds, if not thousands of cases there alone. After that, I went to go work in the state Senate. I was chief counsel for Senator Anthony Williams, but I was also the executive director for the state government committee, the Democratic executive director. That's when we had that crazy photo ID law come out and that gerrymandering map, later declared unconstitutional. So I got to draft those amendments that the Democratic caucus introduced to try to minimize the impacts it had on marginalized communities, and just do a lot of stuff in the community and fight for working people and for our democratic values. And when we look at the Superior Court today, 11 of the 14 judges on that Superior Court, they were all judges first. And I venture to say, because that matters to voters. Because who best can decide if a judge made an error than someone who's done it day in and day out, not only as a trial attorney, but as a trial judge. When you get on that bench and you zip up your black robe and you make those decisions, you have a direct impact on people in their life. And not even just them, but their loved ones as well. It's a ripple effect. It affects so many people. And that's one that we're conscious of, and that's a responsibility that we take seriously. I know I definitely do. And
so you're running for Superior Court, which is where Judge Carolyn Nichols sits right now, correct?
Yes, that is correct.
How many? Again, I'm going to ask. How many people of color are at that level of the amount of seats? That were 34?
There's only one black person, one African American person, one person of color in all of our appellate courts. Just one, and that is Judge Carolyn Nichols.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
But,
okay. So
you had to exhale on that one.
Exhale. I do, because people need to know what's going on out here. So why are you running? You're now currently a judge in Philadelphia. Why are you running for this particular spot up here?
I think it is so important that when we look at who we put on the appellate bench, that we know diversity matters, not the obvious that I'm a black woman, not just that. But also we need a diversity of life experiences. I didn't grow up rich or with a silver spoon. I grew up to a single mom. I know what it's like to work 3 jobs. When I was in college, I was putting together boxes at the post office trying to make extra money. I'm first generation college. I'm first generation law school. I'm also a single mom. I know what it's like to struggle. I know when I was a school teacher, I still had to work, retail to make do, because it's not like teachers make a lot of money.
Right.
And, I'm a cancer survivor and I know what it's like, and I'm a fighter. And I think that when we're looking at who we want on that appellate court to be the final say in our case, we need someone who not only has the experience professionally, but has real life experience. I think that we can't minimize that.
Agreed. How can people reach you to learn more about you?
I have one of my staffers. He was in the waiting room. Is he still in there?
Is that Zach?
Yeah, can you let Zach in?
Let Zach
he
in
can
for
drop
me,
it off.
Let Zach in for me, please, Michael. That's who Zach is. We were like, well, who is Zach?
Yeah, Zach for me. He knows all the info. That way I don't tell you wrong.
Okay, all right.
And I apologize for my crazy dog. My daughter
that's all right.
is home. You know, she's a sophomore at Howard, but they're online. And
Okay, so
she
Zach is
let the dogs out.
Zach is disconnected, he says. So tell Zach to link back into the Zoom room, please, so we can get all that information. Because I don't just want to have a 10-minute conversation with you. I literally want people to be able to reach out and ask you questions, ask you questions about anything that they may or may not have for you, and so that you have an open space for them to talk to you. Because I'm telling you, and again, I know folks must think I'm crazy, but Judge Lane, let me say this. We have so many people running for judgeships, and people are winning on 3 and 4 votes, and judges have such immense power, right? And we have to sit in front of you guys if something should happen, and we want to know who these people are so that we're educated about who we're voting for, you know? That's interesting. Is he bringing back into the Zoom room?
Yeah, he's about to log back on.
Right. Okay. So you decided to run for judge. You were one of those people that decided to run for judge, because I was talking to A. Nicole Phillips, and I said, and a gentleman called it and said, well, it's not fair that if you're not endorsed, you can't run. Were you originally endorsed when you ran?
You know what, I was, and because a lot of people knew me from the community, not only from my work with Senator Williams and my work in the Senate, but they knew all the things that I did in the community. Like even when I worked for the senator, I did so many programs in the community. I know we did a program in Bartram Gardens, and I love that when we did a nutrition program. And that is when, because African Americans, a lot of times we like our food, but we need to do it in a healthier way. So what we did is that we brought in a nutritionist, and we also brought in a chef, a woman of color, and she made all our favorite food, but she made them healthy.
Right.
And I'm telling you, I'm still making recipes from that. So, I mean, it's just stuff like that we did there that I was able to really meet so many people, diverse people in Philadelphia. And I was endorsed when I ran.
Oh, so you were endorsed, because if memory served me correct, I thought that you had the hardest time because there wasn't a whole lot of effort behind your running back then until you won the primaries. And then you started to get more support. Is that you, Zach? Somebody's making noise.
Well, what happened is that when I ran, I stepped out on faith. I left my job. I sold my car, because everybody's like, oh, you ain't going to win. You don't have any money. You from the bottom. You just don't have, financing like that. And it's like, well, maybe you should take out a loan for your house. I'm like, I'm a single mom. I can't play with my housing. You know what I mean? My daughter need a place to live. And so I was out there just working hard. But no, I was really able to get some support. It started off a little shaky, I ain't gonna lie, but we had momentum. And this time I did try to get the endorsement from state committee, and although I was the #1 vote getter, I did not get the state endorsement.
So you were not endorsed by the state committee now. So you're not endorsed now, and you're deciding to run anyway.
Well, nobody got endorsed in my race for Superior Court. What they did is that they endorsed 2 people, Judge Maria McLaughlin and Judge David Spurgeon from Allegheny County. So they didn't endorse anyone for the other seat in Commonwealth, and they didn't endorse in my race.
Okay, got you. Zach, are you there? I need you to turn on your camera, sir. We're like on live radio.
Oh, you want to see Zach?
Yes.
I don't know if Zach is ready for all this.
Come on, Zach. We need to get the information on how people can reach Judge Lane.
You're going to give me 1 second. I will give you 2 seconds. I'm not prepared to be on live.
Come on, Zach. We're on live radio, sir. So there are instances where if you're not endorsed by anybody, that you can still go ahead and run. You can choose to still go ahead and run.
Well, yes, look, you can always run. You can run endorsed or not endorsed, but it is a harder battle because I didn't get state committee endorsement. I had to go through every county and apply for their endorsements, and I've been really blessed. Last night, I got Dauphin County in Harrisburg area. I am endorsed by Lancaster County, Montgomery County, Delaware County, Chester County. So I'm really grateful for that. But if you are endorsed by the state, then you're already endorsed statewide.
Right.
So
So
it's just a different animal.
How many counties are in Pennsylvania, for those who are not aware?
67. 67.
So you've got to get endorsed by 67 counties?
Well, every county does not endorse, but for those that do, yes.
Okay.
Like there's another endorsement tonight in Westmoreland, out the Allegheny County area. So yeah.
And that's the kind of stuff that I want people to hear and to know, so that they don't think, people. I'm trying to give people a general idea beyond what we hear. Like people's names are on a ballot and they just show up and vote for them. I need you to get to know who these people are that are running, so you can make an educated decision. Just Zach, you were there and then you left me. Where'd you go, Zach?
Zach likes to play hide and seek, I guess. He's going to come back. He's going to give him a minute. But you're absolutely right, because we're out here grinding, trying to get to all these counties in Pennsylvania so they know who we are. And it is not an easy feat running statewide. I thought I was exhausted just running in Philly.
In Philly,
I was all over Philly. This is a whole nother beast in of itself. And then in COVID, it's a little different. So we have like 7 to 8 Zooms a night. Then we always have calls and meetings, and then I'm working. It's a lot. Sometimes I got to wake up at like 4 a.m. just to answer emails and messages,
So you really have to be ready for this. Hold on one second. I'm going to take a quick break. Zach, don't disappear on me again. I'm going to take a quick break, and then we'll be right back. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on WURDradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. We will be right back after these messages.
Be back.
We do all we can to ensure our kids are happy, healthy, safe, and strong. Having high-quality, low-cost health insurance helps make that possible. With CHIP, your child can have medical, dental, eye care, and more for free or low cost. Whether you're self-employed, unemployed, or your employee benefits are just too expensive, CHIP is there for you to help your child be strong. CHIP Strong. Apply or renew today at 800-986-KIDS or go to chipcoverspakids.com.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Okay, Her's new fire potato chips and cheese curls, they are spicy. Whew, they're hottest snacks yet. Hold on. Whew. But it's not just heat. There's some nice sweet and savory stuff going on too. Ooh, there's that heat again. It burns, but it burns so tasty. Ooh, that's hot. Find Her's Fire Snacks at your store today. Whew. Taste the flavor, feel the heat, break out the Her's.
Livelihood. WURD Radio's new initiative, connecting Black Philadelphians with jobs, entrepreneurship resources, small business development information, and financial literacy tools. Learn more at wordworks.com. That's WURDWORKS.com. And stay tuned to WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD.
The Black Words Book Club.
WURD Radio's new monthly conversation on books that explore the African American experience through social, economic, and environmental justice issues. Tune in the second Tuesday of every month on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro, 4 p.m. till 7 p.m. For April, WURD Radio is partnering with the Free Library of Philadelphia and showcasing their pick for its annual citywide reading program, One Book, One Philadelphia, entitled The Tradition by Jericho Brown. Be sure to listen live, as Nick Taliaferro will hold a contest for a giveaway book bundle that consists of 4 titles from Kensington's Defina's Authors of Color's newest release. Don't miss it, Tuesday, April 13th on Evening Words with Nick Taliaferro. Attention for WURD members. Get your copy and receive a 20% discount when you purchase at Harriet's Bookstore or Hakeem's Bookstore. For more information on the Black Words Book Club, visit wordradio.com. The Black Words Book Club is sponsored by Defina. Defina is an imprint of Kensington Publishing Corporation, America's independent publisher, concentrating on authors of color.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio. Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, I have someone else who's running for judge, this time for Superior Court, Judge Tamika Lane. And I have on also with us Mr. Zachary Swartz, who is going to give us how can people find Judge Lane. Zachary was just, listen, I cannot just tell you, my producer said my pivot game is really strong because we just didn't see you in the lineup. And I was like, put them on anyway. Let's talk to them. Well, listen, can't let these opportunities go by. That's right. That's exactly right. So, Zach, thank you so much for joining us. Can you tell people how they can reach Judge Lane if they want to know where she's going to be, what her platform is, et cetera, et cetera?
Sure, absolutely. Well, first and foremost, thank you for having me on. Was not expecting this, but this is also why Judge Lane hires such type A people like myself to do this. Is I can just kind of roll with it. So I really appreciate it, and thank you. But yeah, no, I think the best way to get involved, and I put it in the chat here as well, so if it's live on social media, people can see and go to that YouTube link to view Judge Lane's campaign video. Also certainly recommend that everyone can check us out online and Judge Lane's candidacy at www.judgelane.com. Definitely recommend checking out a little bit more about the campaign there. And I can speak very personally as to why I'm part of the campaign and why I'm happy to help make sure that Judge Lane is the next judge on the Superior Court bench. And, I think that's pretty much just mostly because besides being a wonderful human being and a truly phenomenal person who I've gotten to know over the last few months myself, I think that she's someone who brings a very diverse perspective professionally to the bench. And I hope, I don't want to do the website. The website does more justice than I can, so I hope people go there to check it out.
Okay, all right. So if you because you were in and out, so I'm not sure if you heard us when we were talking about this, that I have been interviewing anyone who is running for judge in Montgomery, Bucks, Philadelphia County, because we have had in the last few decades people running for judgeship that we knew nothing about, right? So my ultimate goal is to make sure that people can understand who the candidates are. We're not endorsing anybody. We cannot endorse anybody. We should not endorse anybody if we have good common sense on this radio station. And so the goal is to let people know who you are. And so Judge Lane, once you became a judge, I didn't have much of an opportunity to talk to you, but I did spend 10 months getting to know you through the Centers for Progressive Political Leadership. I think I'm the only one in that class of 60-something leaders from across the state of Pennsylvania who has not opted yet to run for anything other than school board.
I was going to say, you were on school board, and that was a big one.
I was on the school board while I was doing this, and they couldn't believe that I had never run for anything before and ran and got on the school board. Zach, that's a whole other story. We're going to have to do that when COVID is over. They were like, this woman who nobody knows anything about ran for school board, and the opposition was fierce. Oh yeah, won with the second highest votes for someone who no one knew. So they know
you now.
But just was never interested. So when the class ended and everybody else was running for higher offices, it was like, nope, no. And Jeff, all of them have tried. Nope. I said no.
I like how you said yet, though.
Huh?
Repeat that. You said yet.
Well, you know, they've been trying since 2009. Nothing has materialized, but I am very proud of those of you who stepped into the gap to do what you need to do to support people. I wish you all well. In this election. Please, we put it up here, judgelane.com. So if you want to learn anything more about Judge Tamika Lane, who is currently a judge in the court system here in Philadelphia, and on your website, people will have access to when you have different meetings and stuff, correct?
They have my biography on there. I don't know if they have all our events, because I'm telling you, I'm doing like 7 to 8 Zooms a night.
Wow.
Zach,
so Zach, are the events on her webpage?
I think you may be able to find them on the social media, on Facebook or IG more than you could on the website.
So how do they find you on Facebook? Judge Lane?
Zach, what are my tags, Zach?
I can't.
Okay, I can't hear him either. I know one. Girl, it's
Zach, you have to unmute yourself so we can hear you.
Zach, are you on mute?
He is. Go ahead, Zach.
Judge Lane on Facebook. It's facebook.com/Lane for Superior Court.
Okay.
So Lane for Superior Court.
Okay. All right. So then people can find you and show up at your events, because I don't just want you all to interview here and it's a done deal. I want them to get to know each candidate that's running for office, what you stand for. I want you all to go into those Zoom rooms and see what they're talking about, what they're doing, and so you can make an informed decision. That's what this is about. Informed decisions, right? So
I know tonight we're going to do a judicial forum with the Cheltenham and Montgomery County. And, yes,
okay. All right. Just want to make sure. Okay. So, and how do they register for that? Do they just show up? Is there a Zoom link for that?
I don't know if it's on their page.
Okay.
Cheltenham NAACP. I'm not sure.
So it sounds like the Cheltenham NAACP is having a lot of judicial candidates on tonight because
they are, because Nicole Phillips. We're all going to be on there tonight.
Okay.
I think everybody running statewide will definitely be on there, and then Nicole is running countywide.
Right.
But Maria McLaughlin will be on there. No, I'll be there.
Right.
And Lori Dumas, Sierra. I think it'll be a slew of us on tonight.
Okay.
Judge Virgin.
There's actually, so to answer your question, Sir, interrupting, the Cheltenham area branch of the NAACP, I'm actually going to dump I'm going to put their URL here in the chat too.
Okay.
Right on their homepage at the bottom. There's there's a link
so it's CheltenhamNAACP.com.
Correct. Yep.
Okay.
And if people scroll down, there it says general meeting login information. You can click that and it'll take them right to the registration page.
Good. That's good. And the fact that we have this platform so that people know that platform exists, so that they can go on tonight and listen to all the candidates. You'll get to hear all the candidates at once. I can only do them one at a time here. So there you'll get to hear all the candidates at once in a Zoom meeting. I want to thank you both so much for jumping in and let me have a conversation with you, Judge Lane. It's been a while since I actually looked at your face. And
I know, it's so good to see you. So good to see you. You look great as always.
Thank you, honey. Thank you so much. All right, Zach, it was nice to meet you, Zoomy.
Nice. Thank you so much. Nice meeting you.
All right. Bye-bye. Good luck to both.
Stay blessed. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So that's it. So I've gotten 2 judge candidates in today. Let's see if I can get a few more. Others have reached out. I am going to see if I can get them in here so that we can continue to have this conversation. I'm going to tell you all once again, because the contact information for the Black Doctors COVID, I'm not losing my mind. I just want to make sure that you don't miss your vaccines. 484-270-6200, or you can email them info@blackdoctorsconsortium.com. So there are 2 ways to go. If you already had your first vaccine with them, go on the website blackdoctorsconsortium.com, and you will see when your next vaccine is available for you. Okay. Let me quickly do this. Hold on. Let me see. Michael, let me make sure I don't have any callers. Okay. So I wanted to read this to you right here. This was written yesterday at 1:05 p.m. by Becca Hendrickson, Action News again on the health and fitness. So it says the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium passes 25,000 vaccine doses distributed with mass clinic. The Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium plans to distribute more than 1,000 vaccines with a mass clinic on Sunday, which was yesterday, with both first and second doses available. It's worth it. It's cold, but it's worth it, said Robin Hightower from North Philadelphia. She got in line for her first dose at 6 a.m. She says she's excited to be able to see her family again soon. I'm tired of being in the house, ready to get out, hug babies. I have new children in my family, she says, I haven't seen yet. The consortium opened the walk-up clinic for anyone who is phase 1B eligible and also lives in the 24 zip codes with high COVID positivity rates. I read those 24 zip codes for you. The clinic offered 3 lines. One was for first dosage, et cetera, et cetera. Dr. Ayla Stanford says with the Sunday's clinic, the consortium has officially distributed more than 25,000 vaccine doses in the city. We see it making a difference objectively when the numbers are reported. 82% of who we are vaccinated are people of color. 75% are African Americans, she said, because I'm telling you all, she is the one we trusted. I've said it 1,000 times. If I didn't get it from Dr. Ayla, I was not taking it. I'm telling you, because when people have a condescending level or treat us, you know, and folks don't realize, you might be looking at us and thinking that you are speaking to us in a nice, normal tone, but it's your body language. It's the way you look at us. It's the way you look down at us when we're talking to you. When you go to the Black Doctors COVID-19 Consortium, that group, they're kind, they're open, they're warm, they're effacing, they're, you know, you need a seat, we can help you, that kind of thing. And because they're so contagious in the way they love on and treat people that come there, you start to find people in the line taking care of each other. Good vibes attract good vibes, right? And so citywide, Philadelphia data shows only 24% of vaccine doses have gone to African Americans. So she has single-handedly given most of those vaccines to Black and brown people because people trust her. And even yesterday was in a conversation, they were like, we want to go to her. I was like, oh, okay. But the convention center, no, they want to go to her. And so I've said this time and again to the people running the other clinics across the city, make sure you have people there that are opening and warm and inviting so that people can come and get their vaccines. I am also very aware now that Dr. Ayla's group says they have the Johnson & Johnson vaccines. So there are people who want to take the 1 dose. And that's happening now. So if you want to do that, you know, make sure, go on down there and get vaccinated. Now, while I'm talking about vaccines, and you might think I am going on and on about this too much, I need you all to still be careful. Getting the vaccine means you can get out of your house and move about a little bit more. It does not mean that you can take off your masks. It does not mean you can go into large groups of people and still be la-di-da-di and everybody and do what you want to do. You literally are just giving yourself a little bit more protection if that is what you choose to do. So for those of you who are getting on planes and taking off your mask because you've been vaccinated, don't do that. For those of you who are going into supermarkets and taking off your mask because you've been vaccinated, don't do that, right? Because what you're doing is you're putting other people also at risk who does not have the vaccine, can't take the vaccine, or choose not to take the vaccine. So just because you're vaccinated, I want you to think about the long term. More people other than just yourself and finding your freedom to move about and do what you need to do. For those of you who are out here that have been in the cut, really making sure that people find their vaccines and to get them their appointments, because at the city you still have to create an appointment. With the Black Doctors COVID-19, you do not. She removed that. You just jump in the line and go get your vaccine done. So for folks who don't have computer or access to the internet or even know how to use a computer properly, some days even I'm challenged, right? That they're able to get their vaccines without too much of a barrier. For those who have to still go through the city and go through the appointments and registering online, and you need help, there are people out here that are willing to do this for you. In fact, I just saw one of my friends talking about one person today. I'm going to see if I can interview that person so that you all can meet them and know how to reach them so that they can help you to get your vaccines through the city, through FEMA, so that more people can become vaccinated, right? But I still need you all to be incredibly careful. Pay attention to what you're doing. All right. So I'm going to take Gary from Southwest when I come back. I'd love to talk to him. Hold on one second. WURD Radio celebrates Women's History Month with the 2021 Level Up Contest. Join us as we embark on a 3-city contest that will highlight Black women-owned businesses who are making a difference in their communities. You can nominate yourself or your favorite Black woman-owned business and enter to win a marketing campaign valued at $5,000. The deadline for submissions has now been extended to March 19th. Philadelphia finalists will be featured in a special 2-hour live on-air pitch party on March 31st, where the Philadelphia winner will be selected. Go to wordradio.com and click on the Level Up banner for more information or to nominate yourself or a Black woman-owned business you love. You are listening to The Source, 96.1 FM, 900 AM, streaming live on wordradio.com. Follow us on all social media platforms at onWURD. 215-634-8065 is the number to call in. If you are hearing the sound of my voice, I am Andrea Lawful Sanders, and we will be right back after these messages.
Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up, don't give up the fight. Preacher man, don't tell me heaven is under the earth. I know you don't know what life is really worth. It's not all that Peter is gold. After story had never been told, so now you see the light. Hey, stand up for your right. Come on, get up, stand up for your right. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight.
What's up, everyone? I know you know the word, no, not the station, but this word, J-O-B that is, and our friends at Amoroso's Baking Company are hiring right now. Amoroso's has been baking the delicious bread in our community for over 100 years, and they want you to join their team today. The old and the young love Amoroso's, and they are hiring right now. Check it out. They offer fair pay and provide health, dental, and prescription plans after 90 days employment. Call 856-754-0355 or visit amorososbaking.com for details. Small business owners are navigating an evolving small business landscape brought on by coronavirus. However, their resilience is reflected in Bank of America's 2020 Small Business Owner Report, a nationwide survey on 1,000 small business owners, which found that nearly 1/4 of small business owners took steps in 2020 to retool their offerings and/or leverage their resources to support relief efforts in their communities. While many saw an impact in their bottom line last year, small business owners anticipate a strong post-pandemic environment, and 79% believe small businesses will return to be the backbone of the U.S. economy. Inspired by the small business owners facing unprecedented challenges, Bank of America continues their commitment to help small business owners in Philadelphia with the necessary resources to sustain and grow. For more information, visit bankofamerica.com.
This is not a fad for us.
We will not resume our regular programming when things die down. We're not black to help our bottom line or because it's politically correct. We're not joining a fight. This has been our fight, our message, our people. Black lives have always mattered here. We are
Undeniably,
indefatigably, unapologetically, permanently Black Talk Media.
WURD.
You're listening to The Source with Andrea Lawful Sanders on WURD Radio.
Streaming live on wordradio.com and the WURD Radio app.
Welcome back to The Source. If you're just joining us, we're coming to the end of our show today, and I just want to thank you all so much. Every day that I get up, I say I'm going to take the week off, and I push myself to come in because I am still in deep mourning for the sudden loss of a friend, and I try to, I get on the air and you all help me to really pay attention to what's going on. You help me to not think about it, if not for just a few hours. So thank you to all of you. Gary from Southwest, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. How are you, Andrea?
I'm hanging in there.
First of all, I wanted to say, I've been praying for you about the, loss of your friend, because I know how that can feel. You give so much to our community and so much to our people, and Andrea, you're such a great person. I just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
I was listening to the interview, Judge Tamika Lane, and when she said she was from Mantua, my ears really perked up, because that's where I grew up, in the bottom, as she called it. And there's, it's a lot of great people that have come from there that have done a lot of things and still doing a lot of things for our community. So I just want to commend you for bringing these candidates on so we can hear from them, as opposed to just seeing their name on the ballot, and then we got to decide whether or not we want to vote for them. So I just want to thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, my brother. It was a decision that I did not make lightly, right? Because I kept telling people we're not endorsing anybody. What I want to do for our WURD listeners is to let them know who exactly these people are, right? So it's giving them so that we can have better choices out here, because it's just not been easy, right? It's just not been easy. So
I just wanted to say one more thing, Andrea, about they were earlier in the segment. They were talking about the violence in the city and the black man not being in the family. I just wanted to say this. The way this society has orchestrated, even back in times when families needed assistance, the man could not be in the household for the family to get assistance, welfare, so to speak. He couldn't be in the home. So there's a lot of things that went on like that. And I'm going to say, even coming from the bottom, a lot of my friends who grew up, and whether they got married or not, and they had children, all of them are stand-up men, and they raised their children and took care of them both financially and being there for them. So, sometimes I feel that black men get a knock like we're not there. But that is a bigger problem, a societal problem, because the system has made it so that we can't even take care of our families to a certain degree with the racism, trying to get employment, or even getting assistance. You can't be in the house. So we need to deal with those issues with our legislators to make sure we have assistance for our people. Thank you, Andrea.
Agreed, Gary. And as you're talking, just think about how that was going on for how many decades, and now what that has done to the psyche of the average black male. You know what I mean? Which is why I have so much patience with my brothers and for my brothers, all of you, because you've been targeted on so many levels. The simplest thing can set you going, right? Send you off, because it's just so much every single day. And unless you are living with a black man or married to a black man or being around one consistently, your father, your cousin, your brothers, whatever, and you see the daily trauma that they experience when you see them come in with their shoulders slumped or something crazy was said to them to make them feel like they were less than a man, that they swallow and bring home and don't say anything. There's a lot that we have a lot of mental health work that needs to happen in our communities to get our brothers back to a place where they can feel like the head of their homes, beyond what they're being told to do by society. Does that make sense, Gary?
No, it makes perfect sense. Andrew, even with my being in a professional position, working in city government for many, many years, I had to deal with a lot of things, and it was very stressful at times, but I still had to try to stand strong to take care of my family. And in some instances, it did create situations within my household because of what I was dealing with on a daily basis. Like when I talked to you about the union thing and some other things that were going on, and, going to college, getting that degree. I graduated from Drexel University. I got a little bit of brains up here. However, a lot of times, even with private industry, I wouldn't get that second interview. I wouldn't get the job, even though I knew I was qualified to get the job. They wouldn't give me a chance. And so as a black man, I'm not making excuses. We deal with this every single day. And then we get labeled. But you know what? We're strong and we persevere. So I commend all my brothers out there, because you know what? Instead of beating one another down, we got to lift each other up. And those are the kind of brothers I gravitate towards. And the ones who are having a hard time struggle, whatever I can give to them, that's what I do. But I want to thank you, Andrew, because you're real. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, my brother. It's not easy. It's just not easy.
I know.
But thank you, my brother. Take it easy, okay? Have a good day.
Okay. You too.
All right,
you just
bye-bye. Bye-bye. Friendly Fred, how are you, sir?
Hey, Andre. How you doing, honey?
I'm hanging in there. You got my words of inspiration today?
Yes, I do. I just want to say, oh, beautiful, for gracious and spacious skies, morning light, life has so much to show you. You must be ready for the new, because the best is yet to come. and it's all about love. And it's about God's grace that there's a promise of love. It's about faith and trust that there's a rainbow of love. Rainbows in the sky, the promise.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you for calling in and always giving
You're
me a
welcome.
little bit of uplift. All right. Take it
bye-bye.
easy, okay? All right, bye-bye. Oh, my Lord, my Lord, my Lord. Let me see what else. Again, Washington Post. I just want to make sure. Yes, this is the Washington Post, and it was written by Paul Schwartzman. You know, we're in this coronavirus pandemic, and while we're slowly finding our way out of it, you want to see that I am very careful about giving you the right information every day, that I'm reading the articles from places where, you know, the information is vetted, that I give you information from Dr. Fauci himself, from the CDC, that we bring people on that can give you the correct information so that you are okay, right? So here is something. A friend of mine talked about the fact that she got her first COVID-19 vaccine and within days got COVID-19 herself, right? And that was from, according to her, people, she works in the healthcare industry, people who were not being honest when they walked into the spaces and said that they were fine, right? And so there are plenty of folks who may be asymptomatic. So we must be careful. This person, Joyce Smith, a grocery store worker, recently infected with the novel coronavirus in Woodbridge, Virginia. She said, I almost made it. Close to a vaccine, these Americans got COVID-19 instead. I just really want you all to continue to pay attention to what's going on out here and do not drop your guard. Joyce Smith, who stocks the shelves at a BJ's wholesale outlet in Virginia, ignored a January 20th text from management that store employees qualified as essential workers and could register for the coronavirus vaccine. After working for nearly a year without getting sick, Smith was more afraid of the vaccine's potential side effects than of the virus. 2 weeks later, her temperature rose to 103, her head pounded, and she tested positive. Am I going to make it to 60? Smith, 59, recalled asking herself as she lay in her bed gasping for air. She also feared that she had infected her husband, who had been just hospitalized after suffering a heart attack. From its beginning, the coronavirus pandemic has been a terrifying game of chance, requiring moment-to-moment calculations about whether the most mundane decisions, entering an elevator perhaps, or using a public restroom, is worth risking one's life. For those infected in recent weeks, as vaccinations became available and experts began talking of an impending return to normalcy, the bad timing is the pandemic's latest cruel twist. I'll come back and talk a little bit more about that tomorrow so I can get Maurice on. Maurice, are you there, honey? Good afternoon.
Just wanted to call to tell you I love you, mother.
Oh, thank you, Maurice.
And the one thing I want to say, Miss Patel, I'm waiting for my call.
Oh, you call Miss Patel?
I talk to the top. I don't mess with the fry boy. I want to see management.
So I'll let Miss D. Patel know that you're waiting
tell her
for
I love her too. You know, you let her know I love her, but I call every day, every hour on the hour.
Okay. Okay.
And Mother, you're doing a great job, and I hope you feel a little better.
I'm trying, Maurice.
And
Maurice,
listen, I know, look, I still haven't got over Cody. It still bothers me.
Yeah, it's hard.
Right now.
It's hard, Maurice. It's hard. You know,
Especially
I get
when
up
you
in the
got
morning.
Good people.
Yes, yes,
See,
Maurice.
people don't understand. Will Smith said a long time ago, he got 5 people in his life when he was 20. He got 5 people in his life that is the age he is now. You keep that net. And that's what I keep with me. I keep my net. And if I lose one of them, it's just like that. The air, I can't breathe. I can't breathe anymore. So listen, Mother, you're doing a great job. I ain't want to get on there and upset nobody today. That's why I'm calling late.
No, I was struggling. Yeah, I'm talking to you, and what warms my heart is that you called in to say you're thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just let
that
you know I'm thinking about you. But tomorrow, there's no bounds tomorrow. The miles going. I'm setting fires tomorrow.
Well, I thank you for
draws on.
Thank you for the break today, because I know, Lord have mercy. And I'll let Dee know. Leave your phone number with Michael, and I'll let Dee know that you're trying to reach her.
They know? Be painted on the wall in the office.
Ooh, okay. I don't even want to know. Mother don't want to know.
That's all you need to say. They know who I am.
Okay. All right, Maurice. Love you, my brother. Take it easy, okay? All right, but then he hung up. He don't never say goodbye. So for those of you who have lost someone recently, whether it's from the virus or cancer or anything else, this deep loss, you know, is a hard one. It's a hard one. And, you know, I usually we don't have words. And so one of the things I'm going to say to you is when someone is struggling with loss like this, instead of saying, you know, I'm sorry for your loss or my condolences, think of something, and even if it's a little poem, look for a little poem or something that'll bring love and light to them, right? Because we skip over the sorry for your loss or I'm sorry, like just please, we need something a little bit more to help us, a song, a poem, something. Because this is hard, and especially when we are trying to go to sleep and not able to sleep, right? And we all are going to end up losing someone, and I get it, and it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, but you know, I just thank you all so much. I thank you for the love. I thank you for the grace. I thank you for understanding. I thank you for even when we don't agree with each other, that we disagree in a way that doesn't cause disruption. This is Black Talk Media. We love one another. We don't just have Black people on here. You know, I'm very careful to make sure that we have guests from all walks of life if they want to come on, and what they're talking about is making sense to the people that are listening to this radio station, Black, white, or indifferent. I love you all. It is Monday. Try to make the best of this week. Coming up next is Evening Words with Nick Talaferro. I am Andrea Lawful Sanders. I'll see you when I see you. Thank you, Michael. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. You and Brianna. Goodbye.